Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. Some scattered thunderstorms now all the way up until around 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. A couple of those storms could produce some damaging wind. We'll see a low of 56 to 9 under clearing skies, and sunshine is on our way for tomorrow with a high of 81.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 60 points to 41,377. Market update brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Svechnikov knocks it away. He'll get it back. Svechnikov, bingo! He'll turn and hand it out, and here's a chance. Empty net, bingo! Seth Jarvis, take it away, Caniacs. It comes across Aho. Wanted to get it to Jarvis off the boards. Back for Gossesbear. Aho, game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it on the power play in overtime!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Monday. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. There's a few reasons today you want to keep our phone number in mind. First of all, we will have a Monday sound off at 3:30 where you get to choose what we talk about. Whatever you call in and sound off on, we'll respond. 2, we will be qualifying another 10K playoff payout contestant, the final 10K playoff payout contestant.
Last chance
for this round, and there's no guarantee there will be more. So call in today. It'll be about 4 o'clock when we get that final contestant. If you want the chance at the playoff tickets, the $10,000, and whatever else we come up with, you want to be paying attention with your dialing fingers ready at 4, and you can practice those dialing fingers by calling in and sounding off during Monday sound off starting at about 3:30. Speaking of practice, Canes and Caps have had a lot of time for practice, a lot of time for planning, maybe overthinking what the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs will be when the Canes visit the Caps tomorrow at what is it, 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Storm Watch tomorrow.
And I intentionally said it because that's what it feels. It feels like we're pulling teeth to get this series started. On Friday, we made picks because we thought the game had a chance of being played Sunday. Not only is it not being played Sunday, it's not being played today. It's being played tomorrow night. I'm just going to say it. There's a flaw in the system, NHL. There's a flaw. Washington hasn't played since last Wednesday. The Canes haven't played since the day before that, last Tuesday, and they still aren't playing until tomorrow. Now, you could argue this benefits each of them. Right, obviously the Canes benefit in that most obviously Frederik Andersen gets a ton of time to not only get healthy but then like kind of practice the rust off and get back into a rhythm. It's not a ticking clock to game day, which is good, and he also had time to take his agent's advice or be involved in those discussions and sign an extension, which is lovely. So there's that for Freddie. But you could also argue, right, if you want to be a more pessimistic person or a more maybe paranoid would be the term, everybody's out to get you. Washington is two things, right? The Capitals are one of the oldest teams in the league, right? If you just look at average age, one of the oldest teams in the league, and they play a very physical style of hockey. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. You can like it, you can not like it, whatever it is, but usually, when you play an exceptionally physical style of game, one of the things, the pros and cons you have to weigh is fatigue. Right? One of the pros and cons is if we play really physically, then yeah, as the season goes along, as the postseason goes along, we're going to have to deal with the physical ramifications of that style. The league just gave them a complete reset. Between round 1 and round 2, they said, let's make sure all those black and blue marks just go completely away. Let's get you all the time you need for ice and elevation and stem recovery and everything else. And it's not like you earned it in a way that your opponent has no argument, right? If the Caps swept their first-round opponent and the Canes went 7, then yeah, the Caps earned a large amount of rest, more so than their opponent. But in this one, 5 games in 5 games. Why is Washington getting a chance to reset? Right? There's pros and cons on both sides, but what we know is it will be kind of a true test, I guess. Right? That these rosters will look very similar to what their architects hoped they would look like, after the trade deadline. Canes, pretty much everybody's healthy, right? Everybody's pretty much skating. They actually even have a couple of their AHL guys up as practice bodies. Like, there's no excuse not to be ready. Same is pretty much true. You have to say pretty much, right? Because at this time of the year, nobody's 100%. But same is pretty much true for Washington. And there are guys that are getting a little long in the tooth. They had an extra day, extra couple of days to get their body right. So I guess the competitor in me says fantastic, right? You get their best, they get your best, and you get to go see who's most deserving of making it out of the second round and into the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, there was maybe a little distraction on Friday, which, by the way, the timing, exquisite. Sebastian Aho had his wife had a little baby girl, little daughter for Sebastian Aho. Yep. Sebastian Aho spoke to the media about it today. It was announced today. He did miss practice on Friday, so a lot of antennas were up, but the official announcement came today. He spoke to the media, and he very quickly, right, he said the father things, which I'm sure he felt and everything else, right? Everybody said it would change your life, and holding the baby, it does, coolest moment. And then he went right to, but I'll be ready for game 1. Here's some of that from Sebastian Aho about staying locked in and ready as the second round gets started.
It's no different. It's playoffs. You don't control the schedule ever, and you'll play when they tell you that you play. And we're definitely ready. We're definitely rested. We've been sharp. We've been practicing well, and it's gonna be a good fight. But we're ready for it.
We're ready for it. He is, and I actually think this year, right, he has developed a ton as a leader. I know he's been in a leadership role due to his physical ability and his talent for a while, and so often teams just look towards the most productive players as leaders. But in as far as actually saying and really, I don't want to say coaching through the media, but using some of that to make sure his team locks in, I think he's really developed. Rod Brindamore, also as the coach, obviously a position of leadership, talked about making sure everybody is physically ready to go heading into round 2.
I think at this point of the year, it's all about the rest. It's all about recovery. It's we're not really tweaking too much. Here and there, obviously little adjustments against the team you're going to play, but it's about getting to your game. And I mean, they're saying the same things.
And guess what? I don't know if this was intentional. It probably wasn't, and I could be overthinking things, but that's what happens when you get a week off between series. What am I supposed to do? There's no hockey to watch. Did yard work all day Saturday. A lot of thinking time. The fact that they kind of shut down the engines at the end of the regular season and then had to flip the switch when the postseason started, and it appears as if they did that very, very well. Because remember, they were resting starters. They were playing the AHL guys when other teams weren't doing that necessarily for whatever reason. Some of them were fighting over seeding. Some of them just felt that it was the rest versus rust debate. They fell on the other side. But the Canes very obviously at the end of the regular season decided that they wanted to rest. They wanted to give their guys days off rather than focus on being in rhythm and, all gas, no brakes all the way up to and into the postseason. That could help them a little bit here. Because I guarantee you over this week, they shut down the engines, right? Multiple days without skating consecutively. That doesn't happen very often. They unplugged, if you will, for at least a little bit. And now they have to flip the switch and go. I'm not saying Washington can't, but I have some pretty recent evidence that Carolina can. Mm-hmm. And that is very good to know as far as building confidence in yourself going into what is going to be a hard-fought series. Right? This is going to be emotional. There's going to be spats. There's going to be games that you think you're dominating yet the score is close and vice versa. Like there's going to be a real physical matchup because these two teams are who they are, and it's a little speed versus skill, but it's also playoff hockey, and as fun as that is, it's also brutal.
I think it's beneficial for Carolina. Some of those guys, like you mentioned, Slavin, Chatfield, Aho, Jarvis, Jackson Blake, a bunch of these guys got that rest late in the year leading up to that first round. Rob Brindamore even said that some of those guys had a little bit of extra jump, and then you clinch on Tuesday, that series last week. You took Wednesday off and Thursday off, practice Friday, Saturday. You were off again yesterday, and then short practice today and on the flight ready to go. I mean, this is about as good as it gets in terms of just being rested and ready to go A, going into the playoffs, but B, going into the second round. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to think, Jordan Martinook, since Masters Sunday, has played 5 hockey games.
Which is,
when you think about that,
which is great for like physical readiness.
Yeah,
I can understand that being a point of like, ooh, he really hasn't been playing that much hockey. There's both sides there. If they didn't have multiple players go a good amount of time without playing and then play really, really well right at the start of the postseason, I feel like I wouldn't be joking about it at all. I'd be very concerned. But because we've seen it so recently, I'm weirdly okay with it. I will say there's still that little voice in the back of my head that's a tiny bit going like, well, they could be rusty. But I guess so Washington too. I mean, Washington has one less day. It's not a unique challenge for the Canes in this matchup. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget Monday Soundoff coming up at 3:30. So if you have Canes takes going into round 2, we want to hear them. That's coming up at 3:30. We also have Bill Belichick's book dropping tomorrow. But before we can get to that piece of literature, here's Dennis Cox with some info for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. First of all, it's riding season, so for myself included, always make sure you are prepared when you go out on the road. Like, for example, check the weather. I'm not going to lie, almost rode the motorcycle in today. Glad I didn't, because I didn't make sure I checked the weather this morning before actually hopping on the bike. So I'm very grateful I was not riding out in this mess that you might be driving in right now. But also make sure preparation is key when it comes to getting on your bike, making sure your bike's in proper working order. Talk to Jerry from Law Tigers, who represents here in the state of North Carolina, represents in terms of a marketing guy. But I talked to Jerry from Law Tigers about a week or so ago, and he told me one thing to make sure that you do before you get out on the road, even if you're just someone in a car, make sure your insurance is up to date. He said, depending on the county you're in the North Carolina area, or in the Raleigh area, or just in the state of North Carolina, 1 out of every 8 drivers is either uninsured or underinsured. So if you get in an accident with somebody who is underinsured or uninsured, well, guess what? Your insurance policy then has to kick in to cover any other costs that you might accrue, might possibly having to go to the hospital. So make sure that your insurance is up to date before you get on a motorcycle or before you step in the vehicle. So again, check out lawtigers.com for everything that you need to know. Free is the word, folks. Free. Your case evaluation is always free. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll talk about Bill Belichick's book, which drops tomorrow, released for your enjoyment and what you should expect from it, which doesn't appear to be much. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm legitimately emotional about this.
I know.
To watch the handshake line at the end and to see Pesci and Slavin and Stahl and Aho and Brindamore. I wanted to just have a camera on Brett Pesci. I thought it was interesting that there was a lot of love for Dougie Hamilton. Even Eric Holla. Aho and Holla were talking like they were old buddies.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Lincoln Park. From Zero World Tour 2025. Live in Raleigh. Lenovo Center, May 6th, with special guest grandson. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit LincolnPark.com.
Marcy Bailey here to remind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with something sparkly wrapped up in a Bailey box. We've curated an amazing Mother's Day gift guide with beautiful jewelry for every style and budget. Shoppable at BaileyBox.com. We also have all the top designers like David Yurman, Lagos, and Hippolyta, along with our highly sought-after Bailey's collections. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the Coast.
Carolina Baseball hosts the NC State Wolfpack this weekend at Boshamer Stadium for a 3-game matchup. This series begins Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. The first 750 fans in attendance will get the last trading card pack of the 2025 Diamond Heels. The second game of the series is May 9th at 6 with fireworks and Michael Bush bobblehead night. The series finale and senior day is Sunday, May 11th at 1 p.m. Tickets for this rivalry series are going fast, so get your tickets today at GoHeels.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil Nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Monday Soundoff coming up at 3:30. So if you have something you want to talk about, get ready. 3:30, we'll have your opportunity. Call in, tell us what to talk about. If you want to talk about Bill Belichick's book, it drops tomorrow. And I've honed in. I don't even want to say frustrating, right? Because who cares what someone does with their personal life? And we haven't seen them play football. And if they win, 10 games next year, everybody will forget about everything and just focus on the football. But I've honed in on what is making the Bill Belichick experience different, or not, like hard to almost watch for me at UNC compared to Belichick at New England. The difference between Patriots Belichick and UNC Belichick, and I think we're going to see it in this book and the reaction to this book, is that UNC Belichick is doing the things that make it okay for us to want more, where the Patriots Belichick never did. Right? As far as media goes, like if you want to keep your private life private, if you want to be a private person, if you feel like the only thing we're entitled to is your football opinions, that's fine. I encourage that. I think that's probably a healthy way to live for a lot of celebrities. But then you can't write the book. You can't be on, or your girlfriend can't be posting a bunch of pictures of you on social media doing things and on a public profile, right? If you want to be private, be private. If you want to be public, you're going to have to answer questions, and you can't get mad when we ask them. Belichick's book drops tomorrow. There's an article on The Athletic about like what to expect, right? They got the advanced copy. They read the whole thing. And it's not great when the first couple of paragraphs on the review have nothing to do with what is in the book, but everything to do with what's not in the book. Guess what's not in the book? Anything about Spygate, anything about Deflategate, anything about why Malcolm Butler was benched in the Super Bowl, anything about Aaron Hernandez and how that situation was hired. There is almost nothing about his current relationship. There is almost nothing about his current job at UNC, but there is an in-depth explanation about why Belichick is a dog guy. There is an in-depth explanation about why he likes to help players book their travel ahead of the Super Bowl. If you're going to write the book and you're going to promote it as a tell-all and you're going to promote it as the stories of your career, you kind of have to do the stuff we want to read.
Yeah, if it's a tell-all, you should mostly tell all.
Then you can't get mad when you go promoting it and people are asking questions about the interesting stuff and they're going like, you wrote the book. We just want it to be interesting. Right? The Belichick that was in New England wasn't on any social media. Darn sure wasn't writing any books, wasn't doing any podcasts, right? And because of that, I felt it was his right to say, no, you're not going to get a window into my life. And if you ask me, that's messed up, right? So if you asked him a question about his personal life and he was at the podium, he would growl at you and then he would get back to football. And while it may not have been the most customer service friendly thing in the world, it did seem warranted, right? It's like, no, I keep that aside. I don't touch that part of my life. I'll answer the football questions. Now it's he's opening all of the windows, he's opening all the doors, and then when you ask him about what he is showing you, it's not adding up, right? He writes the book, but he doesn't tell us anything. He takes the interview, but his girlfriend is there barking that you can't ask certain questions. He's on the social medias, but if you ask him about the pictures he's tagged in, he I like to keep my private life private. I'm going, well, it's not anymore. It's not anymore. If you want it to be, cool. I'm fine. Do you know how much I know about his I don't even know what to call it, a girlfriend, I guess, that he had for a bunch of years at New England? I can tell you exactly one thing. When Randy Moss threw a Halloween party, they showed up in matching Pirates costumes. That is it. I couldn't tell you what her voice sounds like, couldn't tell you what she likes to do, couldn't tell you anything. But you've opened yourself up to this, or maybe not you. You could say she, because she's doing a lot of the posting. But your relationship has been put on Front Street by the posts. So now you're going to write a book and not mention her outside of calling her near the end your idea mill and creative muse? I'm going to just put it this way. If any football coach calls anyone an idea mill and creative muse, I'm going to have follow-up questions. And it's not my fault that I have follow-up questions. It's you put out a public statement about somebody being your idea mill and and creative muse, and now that that's in a public book that you are selling, we're entitled to a couple questions. That's what it comes down to. Because if he would have truly wrote a tell-all, listen, here's when I found out about the footballs being deflated. I was aware of the rule. I wasn't aware of the rule. Here's what I told Tom. Here's what I think about the punishment. Then that book makes sense. Then I buy that book. Then I read. If you tell me here's why Malcolm Butler didn't play, then I buy that book and I read that book. But in this case, it's you wanting the I don't know, accompaniment, the accoutrement that comes with writing a book without actually doing the part about writing the book. Well, which you don't have to do. I'm sure you have enough money. It's not like this book is anything valuable. It's just if you write it, we're going to ask questions. If you post it, we're going to ask questions. If you don't want it asked about, if you don't want to have to talk about it, if you want to block those questions, don't write it, don't post it, keep it private, and we'll create a burner account, right? Oh, look at this. It's Will Belichick, and it's a private account that only your closest friends can see. That's all it takes, and then all of this goes away.
I'm trying to – it kind of throws me a little bit off, or like it's a little off-putting in my mind that he has this book. Mm-hmm. It's always been written for a while. I mean, he may have had a ghostwriter for all we know. Who cares?
I'm sure. Editor, publisher, whatever.
Yeah, but all of a sudden there's an NBC Sports report 2 days before the book is published that he's looking to hire a new PR firm, not only to promote his book, but also to promote UNC football. And so, well, wait a second. I thought this book was outside of UNC football. This book was already written probably even before most of it was probably already written before he even got hired. So there's the crossover of like, okay, how is this bleeding into the football program? Well, now you get the reports again of a PR firm being hired to not only promote the book, but also promote UNC football. Now it is bleeding in.
There's 100% crossover. I mean, even statements that have been made defending Belichick and his girlfriend Jordan Hudson have come from the university and the football program.
Yeah.
Like there's definite crossover. And I don't know how there wouldn't be. Like he is the head coach of UNC, and head coaches and football teams become almost synonymous. So the crossover is going to happen, which means the people Belichick employs are going to have an impact on UNC football, which is, I think, what has everybody a little antsy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you have thoughts on Bill Belichick, we'd like to hear them. If you have thoughts on anything going on in sports, we'd like to hear them. We're going to open up the Monday Soundoff phone line, 919-860-5326. We can start taking those calls, 919-860-5326. Call in now for Monday Soundoff. And also right now, be ready to take down a different number. That's Maynard Service Company's number. I'm Tim Donnelly from Maynard Service Company. Right now is a great time. Fantastic time to start thinking about cooling maintenance, right? You want to start thinking about maintenance on your cooling system prior to the super duper unreasonably, unseasonably hot days that we know are coming in the state of North Carolina, right? So go out there, have Maynard Service Company, give it a check, give it a rundown, see if it needs something that'll take away some of the stress and worrying for your summer. I was outside of my house recently doing some yard work, saw a branch that was a little too close to the AC, thought back to a conversation I had with the owner of Maynard Service Company, Brett, and immediately got to trimming and got to clearing out. Right, and if you are unaware or haven't talked to Brett recently, then you just need to get a Maynard Service Company tech out to your house. They can survey the whole situation, let you know what needs to get done. The number to call for Maynard Service Company, 919-361-0993. That's 361-0993. 24/7 service, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Not just your cooling, but heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. So emergencies and every other kind of situation. 919-361-0993. Or visit them online, MainorServices.com. That's Mainor Services, MAYNOR Services.com. Monday Soundoff is coming up next. Call in 919-860-5326 right now with your sports takes. We want to hear them. Monday Soundoff coming up next.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Over the years, I'm often asked why we made the choice to become one of the only mortgage companies in the state to provide loans without closing costs as a primary source of funding. And my response is always the same. How did closing costs ever become a thing? Who was that first person who asked for a lower rate, heard it would cost $15,000 to save $50 a month, smiled and said, "That'd be great"? Recently, we're noticing a trend of large national lenders quoting low rates but with a high APR. This is the definition of what happened when that first person asked for a lower rate but ignored how much it would cost. Quotes today are a two-part process. It's not just the rate, but what are the closing costs? At Miller Lending, we simply don't believe you'll keep your loan long enough to realize additional savings. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Chick-fil-A wants to say thanks for all the little things our teachers and educators do each day to make a big difference in our community. That's why on May 6th, local Chick-fil-A restaurants are celebrating Teacher Appreciation Day and giving away a free entree, chicken minis from open until 10:30 a.m., and a free original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich from 10:30 a.m. until close with a valid ID. Valid at participating Greater Triangle Area Chick-fil-A restaurants. Offer subject to availability while supplies last. Visit your local Greater Triangle Area Chick-fil-A restaurant for further details.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Welcome home from Baker Home Exteriors. Your home is not just where you live, it's where life happens. We're proud to continue Baker Roofing's century-long legacy of excellence, bringing that same dedication to your home. Whether it's roofing, siding, gutters, or more, we transform houses into the homes you've always dreamed of. Your home deserves nothing less. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and let's build something beautiful together. That's BakerHomeExteriors.com.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary, 21 to enter and play. Limited to 1 entry per person and 1 prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give sports radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of sports radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Heister Automotive Group hotline is wide open for your takes. It is a Monday Sound Off. Whatever you want to react to, mostly in the sports world, but if you're creative enough and you can sell it, maybe we'll go outside the sports world. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open. Call in now is the point. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Look forward to hearing from you. We'll start with Ralph in Durham. Wants to do some sounding off on the NHL/Hurricanes. We'll see what that means. Ralph, thank you very much for calling in. What do you want to sound off on?
Well, thank you for taking my call. I love your show.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It seems like we have like minds because as soon as I think about it, you will make the take on it. And the way the NHL is set up this series is ridiculous. We finished playing last Tuesday. We should have been on the ice by at least Saturday.
So
to get
let me
going.
Saturday may have been a little quick, but what do you think is hurting? What about the rest is not good for the Canes?
It's just that, too much rest. You know, our game was coming together. Everybody was flowing, and now they just been sitting around, not really sitting around, but practicing. But I just think the layoff was too long.
All right, Ralph, appreciate the call.
4 days is good.
Okay, appreciate the call, and thank you for the kind words as well. Call back in anytime. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. I'm struggling with picking which team. I can guarantee this. Whoever loses, I think, could point to the break and go, that's what did it. But I'm really having a hard time deciphering which team it is better or worse for, with foresight rather than hindsight.
I think it's negligible at this point. I mean, it's going to be a week between games. It's one less day for Washington. It's really is negligible at that point. To me, I honestly thought once Washington clinched their series on Wednesday, they had already had initially to be determined, scheduled the Washington Capitals to have game 7 of their series against Montreal just yesterday. I was like, well, that would have been perfect. You could have game 1 of that series yesterday and still had game 7 last night between Winnipeg and St. Louis. And you could have that game 1 as like the appetizer, like, hey, this is game 1 of the second round, but we got a game 7 tonight. Tune in for that. I think they should have played game 1 yesterday, but that's my personal opinion.
So I'm going to nerd out on this for a second. Monday Soundoff phone lines are open. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. I do like the NBA did it yesterday.
Yeah.
They had the second round start before the first round was finished with the Cavs-Indiana game, whatever it was, 6 o'clock, and then the later night game being game 7 between the Warriors and Rockets. So they started the second round before the first round was done. And even they are somehow in a bind because I don't know if anyone's seen the schedule for the Warriors Timberwolves. The first 5 games, I think it is, has 1 day off between them all. They're just ripping through it, which doesn't seem ideal either, and actually would be a huge disadvantage for the team with all the old guys like the Warriors. So I guess what I'm saying here a bit of is it might just be really hard to schedule a whole bunch of 7-game series and with arenas and trying to make sure they all don't double up. Like, it might just be a really difficult puzzle. But I'm going to sit here and say, for an NHL arena or an NBA arena, the playoffs have to take priority. Like, I get concert tickets and everything, but you should be able to make sure your team can play the game when it should be played.
Well, I know at Lenovo, this coming Friday, Shane Gillis has his stand-up show. And then on Sunday, Pearl Jam has the first of 2 shows. They play Sunday and then Tuesday next week. So the only available dates for Lenovo would have been Thursday, Saturday, Monday. So NHL has to schedule around that too. So it's a funky thing that you have to deal with because most of these arenas that these teams are playing in, NHL and NBA, are shared arenas. They do more. A lot of them actually host more than one pro sports team, let alone all the concerts and everything else that come through. So it's not an easy thing to deal with, but I still think that Carolina and Washington should have started yesterday, and we should be breaking down game 1 right now.
I think so as well. Heister Automotive Group hotline open for a Monday Soundoff, 919-860-5326. We have the transfer portal going on. We have Bill Belichick's new book dropping tomorrow. We have, obviously, Canes hockey, right? The NHL play. We have the rest of the NHL players. How do you feel about Mikko Rantanen now? Everybody that was really excited for Mikko Rantanen to be traded away. Turns out he can occasionally remember how to play hockey, and he did so in the third.
Yeah, 11 points in 3 games.
The hat trick is pretty pretty brutal, but at least it's worse for the Avalanche, right?
100%.
The Canes were the middleman in that whole transaction. It was worse for the Avalanche.
By the way, call in and give us your predictions for the series.
Who's going to win?
Do that too.
Could be that simple. Who's going to win? How many games? If you have any details, who's going to score the first goal of the series? Whatever you have. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326.
We posed that same question. If you can't call in on our YouTube live chat, what's your prediction for Canes versus Caps? Let us know. Allie said Canes in 6. Will said Canes in 6. Canes win game 2, 3, 4, drop 5, and win it in 6. So they lose game 1,
but they steal
win game
home
2,
ice back in game 2.
And then win game 3 and 4 at Lenovo. They lose game 5 on the road in Washington, but then win game 6, clinch the series then. I'm not going to lie. I like that. I dig it.
So do I. I mean, I don't care if they win in 47 games. Like, a win is a win, although 47 would be difficult. Winning in 6, to me, is – and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dennis – predicting your favorite team is going to win in 6 is what you do when you're not actually that confident in your team.
I guess,
right? Because winning in 7 is like, ooh, you're flashy. Winning in 6 is like you're trying to posture as if you're confident in your squad. Right? They aren't going to need 7. I'll go in 6. But if you actually are super confident, 4 or 5 is usually where you go. 6 just feels like, I don't know, like. And by the way, I might pick the Canes in 6, so I'm not necessarily saying I'm above it. But your favorite team in 6 does feel very much like I'm not sure they're actually going to win, but I want to show confidence in my team, so I'm saying Canes in 6. Jeff and Raleigh next up on the Heister Automotive Group Hotline, open for callers 919-860-5326. Jeff and Raleigh wants to sound off on the Canes Cap Series. Jeff, thanks for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing well. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Basically, I like the Canes, but it's anytime you're playing a rivalry, which Washington is a rivalry, especially when you talk the guy that cold cocked slept. So basically, bottom line, it's going to be 7 games. Wouldn't surprise me if it's overtime, but I'm thinking 7 games, 2-1 in the final.
Okay, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a rock fight. 7-game rock fight. All right, Jeff, we got you locked in. 7-game rock fight. Appreciate you for calling in. Did he? That might be the only time this year. I'm pretty sure he was talking about when he said the guy that cold cocked Andrei Svechnikov. Pretty sure he was talking about Alexander Ovechkin back in the 2019 series when Svech was a rookie. That is probably the first time all year that Alexander Ovechkin was described as that guy. Right? It seems like he's been in the spotlight as a headliner for most of this season. So Ovi getting that guy treatment from Jeff, which I kind of appreciate as Canes side of things.
How do you see the series going?
I think home teams are going to be overwhelmingly favored in their own arena.
Okay.
So the Canes are going to have to beg, borrow, and steal by any means necessary, find a way to steal a victory in Washington, and that's what it's all going to come down to. I see it, and 6 or 7. I see it going 7.
Really?
Right? I do, because I think it's just going to be holding serve. I think the Canes numbers will show a lot better here at home, which means they're a lot worse on the road, right? You can't be better at home without being worse on the road. And because of that, and they're a resilient bunch. So even if they go down 0-2 because they're in Washington, there's no give up. There's no taking anything lightly.
That's what happened in 2019.
And even if it doesn't, like if they win the first, I still think it's going to go a long way. I just think in such an emotional game with a history, with the fights this year, with the 2019 series in the rearview mirror for some of them, I think I read that there's only like 2 or 3 teams that Washington hasn't beaten in the Eastern Conference in a postseason series, and the Canes are one of them. So just with all of that, I think I think it's going to be back and forth. I think there's going to be big pendulum swings, and I'm looking forward to it. Edward in Wendell wants to sound off on the Canes as well. Doesn't have to be Canes, but of course we will talk Canes all day. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. We want your calls. That's right, you sitting there thinking of something. We want to hear what you're thinking. Edward in Wendell, that includes you. Go ahead and sound off on the Canes.
I think the Canes will have a good series. If we keep the special teams up, we had like last year, and don't do what we did against the Rangers where the special teams just collapsed. We can get it done in maybe 5. I feel like if it's going to 6, it might happen, but if we go to 7, we're going to lose, especially at like in Washington, in D.C. I think that was the trouble. Ovechkin's a little older. He might still is out for blood after only winning 1 in his career, and I'll put him up with probably closer to Gretzky and Gordie Howe and all those people. But, yeah, I think the Canes will do well, but they'll just have to fight hard.
All right. I appreciate the call, Edward. As always, love your insight. Gretzky and Gordie Howe are up there, but hey, everybody can have their own opinion on the all-time greats, but Gretzky and Gordie Howe are in pretty rare territory. That's actually really interesting that Edward says that, and here's why. I said almost, and I'm not saying either of us are right or wrong, but I said almost the exact opposite thing in the office today. I said if it's 4 or 5, right, if it's a short series, I don't love that for the Canes. If it's 6 or 7, I think it's much more likely that the Canes can pull it off. And then Edward says the exact opposite. He goes like, I didn't get done in 5, maybe 6. If it goes 7, I don't like it. I just think there are certain elements of the Canes that will, I don't even want to say age better, but fatigue less. Like they'll be a little bit more spry later on. Younger team, obviously, a little bit more skilled. A little bit less dependent on leaning on your size and all of those things. So if it's a short series, I will not be super optimistic. But if it's a 6 or 7 game series, I think the Canes it swings in their favor, and I believe they are favored. The Canes are the favorite in the series. So whatever advanced analytics that the sports books have or whatever they're using comes up with the Canes being the favorite. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, wide open for you, 919-860-5326. We want to hear from you. Corey in Wendell, next up, wants to sound off on Steph Curry. Corey, thank you very much for calling in. Sound off on Chef Curry.
Tim, appreciate you having me on again. Love the show.
I
just want to say, man, that a lot of people last night are saying that because of the game that Buddy had, that's why they won. But the crucial shots and the shot-making ability from Steph Curry in the most crucial time of the game, fourth quarter. And I think the biggest thing I want to say about Steph Curry is, making it past the first round again. They're getting ready to see the Timberwolves, and Ant Edwards is one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player to watch this year. If he somehow gets past him and they somehow win another title, we got to start having a serious conversation about how Steph Curry has dominated the LeBron era and taken LeBron off of that top 3 spot.
Ooh. All right. First of all, top 3? You don't have LeBron as it stands right now. Top 2 is a question for another day, but I appreciate it very much. Go ahead and call back in anytime. I do want to talk about. We can talk about the Buddy Hield game. I think the most impressive part of the Buddy Hield game is sensing the moment because. If you want to say the most impressive part of that game was Steph Curry in the second half, sure. Steph Curry had 3 points in the first half, and they came with 30 seconds left in the first half. Buddy Hield had 22 points in the first half. That is Buddy Hield sensing or understanding or innately being aware that, like, all right, they're either completely taking away Steph, and I have to be the one to make them pay, or Steph's having a little bit of an off night, off half. I can be the one that makes it irrelevant in Game 7. Buddy Hield, that's a really big game for his confidence. He had played not great shooting the basketball the 2 games leading into it. And yes, going up against Anthony Edwards, if you look at who Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves have beaten in the last, 2 playoffs. The way I described it, he has a pretty impressive pelts collection, right? If you get to kind of like, take the trophy of the people that you've beaten in the postseason. He's beaten and eliminated LeBron as recently as the last round. He's beaten Jokic. He's beaten Kevin Durant. He's beaten Devin Booker. Like his teams have already slayed a few Goliaths, and one of the last few standing in his way is Steph Curry and Draymond Green. If Anthony Edwards can pull that off, right, then I think some conversations are going the other way, right? You're talking about if Steph wins this, then you have to start reconsidering LeBron. If Anthony Edwards wins against Steph, he starts to have a real, not obviously all-time great conversation, but all-time through whatever age he is. That conversation becomes a very, very interesting one. This NBA playoffs, if you're an NBA fan, has a lot of really interesting storylines going down the stretch here. Not to mention, like, Jokic is still there, right? Jokic going up against a heavily favored OKC team, but you want to talk spots in the all-time pantheon, Jokic has some MVPs stacking up.
It's still impressive, going back to Steph Curry on the call there, is that it's still amazing the level of play that some guys are having at this stage of their career. I think that's the fascinating thing. Whether they get further in the playoffs or not, I know we'll kind of talk about this later. Like, of that era of players, Steph and Draymond are the only guys that are actually still playing right now. Like, this is where we might fully see the quote-unquote changing of the guard in the NBA in terms of the next era of players that come through.
You could throw Jimmy Butler in there, but he's with them, so that group is the same. I will say none of us should be, or we can actually admit we're not surprised by Steph playing well into old age. You know how every time we bring up Slavin and like his contract, we just go, and his game's going to age awesome. Like we've been saying that about Steph from the very beginning. It's not like, oh, when he loses that first step, he's not going to dunk on as many people. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure he can shoot until he's 60 years old. Like, if he wanted to, he could be a floor spacer forever. It's everything else, right? He's still running around a bunch. He's still ball handling. That stuff's impressive. Back to the call-in line. John in Raleigh wants to get back to the hockey on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Open for your calls. Just a few more minutes. Get in while you can. 919-860-5326 is the number. That's 919-860-5326. John in Raleigh, sound off on the Carolina-Washington series. Go ahead.
All right. Well, season ticket holder, and I remember the game a few weeks back when we played the Capitals at home. It was a physical
How could
battle.
You forget?
That was awesome, and I don't remember if it was on the news or someone said they were reading Wilson's lips or whatever, but he said to Aho during that game, who's going to protect you? And that's what worries me the most about that game. But it's a good setup if we were to win and get to play probably Florida. It's going to be 2 rounds of total physicality, and that's the one thing that always worries me about the Canes more than scoring goals or our goalies playing well is when we get against these really physical teams. Might be a good time for somebody like Nikurskin to come in and play a little bit, or won't have any choice because we'll have some injuries. But that's my biggest concern.
All right, thank you very much.
Through that, we'll do it.
All right, John, thank you very much. Appreciate the call and good points all around. I do think it'll be a very, very interesting series. I didn't see that somebody read Tom Wilson's lips and he said, who's going to protect you? But that's just what Tom Wilson's presence says when he's on the ice is you're going to have somebody that matches my physicality or I'm going to keep bullying you. You don't have to like it. It's what is going to happen. So, and by the way, like Aho, trust me, there's enough guys on the Canes that ride or die for Aho. He'll have his protection if he needs it. But it's different in the postseason too, right? Tom Wilson doesn't want to go to the box for a whole bunch of minutes and give up opportunities. So he can't just be willy-nilly either.
Now, here's the thing with Carolina. Just because they don't have that guy, and by that guy, air quotes, Tom Wilson, just because they don't have that guy doesn't mean they're soft.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you got to keep in mind as well. Like, they're not afraid to stick their nose in it and go.
Especially if they feel like Aho's been disrespected.
For sure. Yeah. But also, Carolina knows what's at stake. Say, hey, fine, you want to keep making trips to the penalty box? I mean, the caller just referred to that game against Washington a few weeks back here at Lenovo. You know what Carolina did when Washington kept taking penalties? Scoring. They kept scoring on the power play. So if Washington wants to mess around, they'll find out.
Scoreboard is where you do the damage
Exactly.
in the postseason. I mean, I would say try to do that even in the regular season, but definitely in the postseason, it's where you do your damage. Tom and Creedmoor, next up on the Heastar Automotive Group hotline, wants to sound off on state basketball. Tom, the floor is yours.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
I understand that State signed a big man last weekend. It was about 6'11".
Correct. That did happen. He is a I'm blanking. Mbaya, I believe is his last name. He is an incoming, I think, part of the freshman class, but he's 20. He's been a part of NBA Africa Academies, but you are correct on that.
What? And then they signed a guy named Haggerty last week.
There's been a ton of insider predictions that PJ Haggerty will be signing with State, but I haven't seen anything official yet. He is, if you look at the transfer portal rankings, the best player available, and most are describing him as a top 3 player in the entire cycle of transfer portal. So very good player, and I think State fans, the longer it goes, the more you're like, what's going on here? Because it did seem like it was going to happen on Friday.
Well, so that means so how many players has he got so far for next year, for the whole team?
Just off the top of my head, I believe it's 6 incoming transfers, 1 returnee, and 2 high school, now 3 high school recruits. So it's up to 9, 10, something like that.
Just counted 11.
Okay, 11. And that's including Snell, who would be the walk-on that I wasn't counting.
Yes.
So
well,
yeah, 11.
Is he looking at another big man or what?
I think there's still quite a shopping list. PJ Haggerty's a guy you take regardless of what the plan was. But yeah, I mean, they still need a little bit of size. One guy that's above 6'9" isn't really enough in the ACC.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks a lot.
All right, appreciate it. Keep this rolling here as we're near the top of the hour. Isaiah in Wake Forest wants to sign off on the Canes. Isaiah, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say 2 things real quick.
Okay.
First, I'm not a big fan of re-signing Freddie. I mean, I don't know if it was just like a confidence thing or anything, but he's getting old. Is he 35 now? And he's had injury problems for the past few seasons. And I would have liked to see maybe just re-sign him if he was going to be at the end of his contract this season, re-sign him. I would like to trade him. Plus, you have a lot of young talent. You got Nikishin watching from the sidelines. If I'm not mistaken, Roslovic didn't play part of the series because Jankowski came and played. So you've got good players who are not playing or are at Chicago, and you can trade some of those players along with Freddie to get a really good goalkeeper who I would prefer more, especially a younger guy who's maybe, 28 or something at least, and I would like that a lot better.
All right, appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. We got to move on quickly here. The only thing I'll say is it's not that easy. If I thought that there was like you could pair Roslovic, a pick, and Freddie and go get some really good young goalie with term, I would be all over that, and I'm sure the Canes would as well. It's just usually when teams get good goaltenders, They hold on to him with both hands and never let him leave.
We'll talk more of Freddie at 4:45.
Yeah, that little tease there. 4:45 for all your Freddie talk. Last one here before the top of the hour. Reed in Clayton wants to sound off on Tom Wilson. Should be a fun one to end on. Reed, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, guys, I appreciate you taking my call and really enjoy your show.
Thank you.
Tom Wilson can talk all the junk he wants, but let's remember the guy he went after the last game was Logan Stankoven.
And he threw Jackson Blake into the goal and scored with Jackson Blake for the Canes. So.
Right. Tom Wilson is one of the few people that can back up that trash talk. I get it. But if he's stupid enough to go after somebody in this series and the way the Canes power play is going now, fine. We'll just feast on their mid-penalty kill and win the series in 5.
There you go. I'm with you. Like there's very little disagreement there. Thank you very much for the call, Reed. We're up against it, so we got to get rolling, but good call. And I agree. And by the way, Tom Wilson has been on, he's the definition of when he's not on your team, you absolutely hate him, and Caps fans ride or die for that guy.
He's a good hockey player.
Yeah, and he's been in postseason runs, right? It's not like this he's going to – I would be very surprised if the entire series swings on him doing something really, really dumb. But if he wants to do something really, really dumb, trust me, the Canes will not get in his way. They will just let him keep on keeping on. because the Canes are a pretty disciplined team when it comes to that sort of stuff. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4 coming up next. And we need to register, qualify our final contestant for our current 10K playoff payout. Try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Call in right now, 919-860-5326. Caller number 9 will have a chance to qualify themselves as the next contestant in our 10K playoff payout. The number to call, 919-860-5326. Looking for caller number 9. And remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See Carolina Ford dealers today.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. We're close to crowning a hockey champion, and when I'm not calling playoff games around the country, the first thing I do when I'm back in the Triangle is head to Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet, and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, like half-price pizzas, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and a $6 Bloody Mary on Sunday. Dine in, carry out, get it delivered. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NBA Conference semifinals are here, and even though we are without a king, no more monarchy in the NBA playoffs, we are still ready for you. And FanDuel, for new customers, $200 in bonus bets await when you place your first $5 wager. You don't even have to win it. How good is that? FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. That's FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. And again, new customers, $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 wager. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Today is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a level 1 risk for severe storms this afternoon. A few of the storms that develop could produce some damaging wind. We'll see a high of 80 degrees. Cooler tonight in the mid-50s under mainly clear skies, and a pretty day tomorrow. Sunshine with a high of 81.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 98 points to 41,219. Market update brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to football at 4, it's time to qualify our final 10K playoff payout contestant. We have Bob in Durham on the line. He has to answer a very simple question. If he gets it right, he will be the 5th and final contestant for the 10K playoff payout, where he'll have a chance, if he qualifies, at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and a chance at his ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Bob, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have to answer this question correctly. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to trick you. It is a simple question. Are you ready to roll?
Okay. Let's go.
All right. In what state do the Carolina Hurricanes play their home games?
North Carolina.
There you go. There you go. Bob, you are the 5th and final contestant for the 10K playoff payouts. Congratulations. You answered correctly. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you're aware of how to take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Congrats.
Thank you. Let's go.
All right. And for Bob and all of you out there, do not forget, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. Really gave him a stumper that time, right? It's a tough one. I was California. No, sorry, Bob. Either way. Yeah, there you go. Either way. That is all 5 of our contestants. Thank you to everybody that tried to call in. Thank you to everybody that participated. And good luck to those contestants as they have an opportunity to do something pretty cool. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's fire up football at 4.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
So the biggest moves of the NFL offseason are done, right? I mean, there could still be a ridiculous trade, maybe 1 or 2 more free agent signings. But for the most part, the work is done. You got to fill out your roster. There's small moves. Where do the Panthers stand? Right? The free agency has happened. The draft has happened. When they are compared to their peers, right, to the other teams in the NFL, where do they stand? ESPN did this exercise, and they said, let's power rank, right? Everybody loves the power rankings. They power ranked the entire NFL. Carolina came in at 27th. Out of 32 teams, they came in at 27th. And womp, 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 right? Carolina's been wallowing in the upper 20s, in the 30s for too long now, and I'm sure because there is positive energy, because finally there's a coach, GM, owner kind of alignment, because stability, you were hoping for better. I think I've built up some credibility here, because last offseason, when there was a significant amount of positive buzz with the Panthers, I was one of the few media personalities, I believe, that was going, relax. They're still bad. Relax. They're still one of the worst teams in the league. Are they better? Did they make moves that would set them up for success in the future? Yes, but there were still so many gosh darn holes on the roster this past year that I didn't see a path to them being, like, best case scenario was 6 wins. Best case. If everything broke their way. They had a couple bad injuries, a couple games that came down to coin flips didn't go their way. Yeah, that what just wasn't going to happen. So with that as my, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it resume, this year does feel a bit like those of us that are paying close attention to the Panthers know something that the national casual, I try to follow all 32 teams, doesn't know. I think the Panthers are middle of the pack this season. Right? Last year, they still aren't good. This year, it's okay to expect more. And I think most of the trepidation, most of the caution is centered around the defense. I have higher expectations for the defense than most.
Well, it can't get much lower than we were last year, so that makes sense.
Correct. But even last year's defense, when you think about it, wasn't as bad as last year's defense because Derek Brown got hurt, right? That they went into last year, I believe, expecting him to make up for a lot of holes. He gets hurt. Those holes are now wide open, flapping in the breeze, and really, really costly. They weren't good last year. I want to be clear on that. But let's look at what they've done. Derek Brown is back, hopefully healthy. Trevon Merrick, 3 years, $51 million as a safety. Tershawn Wharton, 3 years, $45 million, defensive lineman. Bobby Brown, 3 years, $21 million, defensive lineman. Pat Jones, 2 years, $15 million, edge rusher. Nick Scorton in the second-round draft pick. Princely Umanmilayan, that wasn't close, but Princely in the third round, edge rusher. If I'm not saying, and by the way, I've disagreed with picks and things, and some guys I wouldn't have gone with, but if they know what they're doing, if they're a front office and an evaluation group that knows what they're doing on defense, that defense should be much, much, much better. Like significantly better based on additions, right? We talked with Dan Morgan on this show, and he talked about the plan going into the draft. They recognized in their evaluation process that outside linebackers and edge rushers, he said stacked, and he said through the first 4 rounds. Right? So them passing on an edge rusher in the first is them betting on their evaluation that the depth was as good as they thought it was. If they're wrong on that, we got bigger issues. Right? If they're wrong on that, we have bigger issues. Would other teams have spent as much on Tershawn Wharton? I don't believe so. I think they kind of got caught up missing out on a big deal for the guy that ended up with the Patriots, and then they turned to the next guy and gave him the Godfather offer. It may have been a little over market price. They had the money to spend, and they obviously saw something they believed in. If you trust Dan Morgan, and I do, especially with defensive evaluations, if you trust Dan Morgan, the defense should be much better. Much better. And then I look at the offense, and I go, the offense, obviously they added Teteroa McMillan, which is not something to scoff at, but darn near every other position group is perfectly set up for what I call natural improvement. Stability, consistency, play caller the same back-to-back years, offensive mind the same back-to-back years, quarterback the same back-to-back years, offensive line gets to play along each other, bringing back all 5 starters back-to-back years. There's so much obvious opportunity for players and position groups to get better. And I would say the one position group that I would have looked at and said probably regression, they added McMillan. So there's no excuse not to be better on both sides of the ball. Significantly on both sides of the ball. Now, does that mean like I'm talking playoffs? Probably not. But I'm not talking 27th. I'm not talking picking in the top 10. Now, I want to be clear here. It is Cinco de Mayo. It is May 5th. That is very early on in the process. So I am reserving the right to change this, right?
I feel great about playing football right now.
It probably was about this time last year. You said that. I am reserving the right to change this, and you can't call me a flip-flopper, okay? If more information appears and something changes my mind, I want to be able to do that. I'm putting him 17th. If I were to power rank it right now without counting teams above and beyond, I'm putting them 17th because here's why it's not random. Here's why I picked 17th. If they're in the top half of the league, I would be very pleasantly surprised. If they're in the bottom half of the league, I'm going to go they're not on pace. They're not on target. They're not on track for their rebuild. 17th is right. It's a 32. I wish I could go, 16 and a half. But it's not there. 17th is the break-even point. That's where I think they should be. If they're better than that, I'm going they might be out-kicking their coverage a little bit. If they're below that, I think they're off schedule. But looking at their roster, I don't see nearly the amount of holes on their roster or the size of holes on their roster that I was counting last year when I was running around being Chicken Little to everybody that was getting way too far ahead of themselves with the new era.
I mean, it's going to be a pretty drastic climb for the defense just to even get to like 20th in the NFL, because that was a historically bad defense last year. Let's keep that in mind. They weren't just bad. They weren't bad. They were historically bad last year. And that's hopefully all those guys that you just mentioned, the guys that they drafted, hopefully they come together. That's the biggest thing. It's on Evero now. The fact that they brought you back and brought all these guys in, you better make something work out there.
Can I spin zone this?
Sure.
After a season like that where, first of all, they took a ton of resources from defense and put it on the offensive side of the ball last season. They were forced to play a lot of young guys. We're talking Shaw Smith-Wade. We're talking Damani Richardson, like guys that were Trevin Wallace, guys that were forced into action that probably would have been better off as depth pieces at best in their very early on in their career.
I will say I'll push back slightly on that. Richardson didn't play till late because of injury. Smith-Wade didn't play till real late. Like, it was already bad before those guys even got inserted into the lineup.
No, but I'm saying because it was bad, those guys now have experience that they would not have gotten if they were, practice squad guys for the fourth best defense in the league. So now they come back, right? You have Trayvon Morig playing, probably Lathan Ransom. I still don't know what they're going to do with free safety. I'm still worried about it. But now Damani Richardson is a depth piece. If things go sour, he has a bunch more experience, right? The linebackers, Trevin Wallace, whether it is or it isn't in the starting lineup, I guarantee you that if he's not there and somebody gets hurt and he's forced into action again, he's better for it. So there are weird silver linings to being a bad defense if the next year you do make significant kind of overhaul changes, because now the young players that you keep around, they played in the NFL last year more than they probably would have on a good defense, and I think that's important. Again, I'm not sizing banners, right? I'm not asking for ring sizes or anything like that. But I am saying it's okay this year to expect 7-8 wins, right? And I don't know exactly what we're going to put on it, but 7 or 8 wins, it's okay to expect it. I won't run around going, "You're way, way, way overconfident," like I did last season. Which, by the way, 27th, I'll run around saying, let yourself live, man. Be optimistic. Like I'm going to encourage the doomsdayers to come out of their bunker a little bit this preseason.
And you got to think they had 5 wins with that historically bad defense. They still won 5. Mm-hmm. So again, get the defense to 21st, 20th in the NFL in terms of depending on what metric and stuff you want to look at. Then you're like, wait a second, the offense, like you said, makes that natural progression. Yeah, you should be looking at a 500 team.
If you're 21st in defense and 16th, 14th in offense,
yeah,
you're in most games and
might win in the NFC South.
And I like Bryce's moxie at the end of close games,
mm-hmm.
which is a nice little thing to fall back on if you don't have a top 5 unit on either side of the ball. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the ladder challenge coming up, which does open up the opportunity, although not really. It's got to be overnight. I was going to say we could bet the over-unders on the Panthers, but that won't be settled. So instead, we'll look for a bet that'll take place tonight because we have to be able to roll it over. The ladder challenge, Dennis and I keep it rolling, coming up next.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Jarvis!
Let's go, Caves!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we wanna be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time.
Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
The place to be is at First Horizon Stadium in Cary. Come out and cheer on the North Carolina Courage, the Triangle's premier professional women's soccer team, as they take on the Orlando Pride on May 10th. Presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield North Carolina. Get tickets at nccourage.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There you go. All right. It is a Monday here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, which means over the weekend, both Dennis and I had a ladder challenge bets to track. Dennis, how'd you do?
I won. It was pretty easy. I just let Miko Rantanen take over in the third period. I had Avs and Stars over 3.5 goals in Game 7.
Did it all? So going into the third, though, you were a little sweaty palm.
I was a little bit. I was like, okay, it's 1-0 going into the third. I was like, But then once it became 2-0 Colorado, I was like, oh, I've got this one.
Because they're going to be pulling goalies and everything.
Exactly. So, like, if the goalie's going to get pulled, I'm going to get a third one. They're going to keep that goalie pulled. I'm going to get that fourth one. Or Dallas is going to score one. I'm still going to get an empty netter. I felt fine once I got that second goal. And then the Avalanche collapsed, and I was like, oh, okay, this is fine.
I also won over the weekend with my random Yankees bet. I needed over 2.5 runs scored by the Yankees. They won 3-0. So
you sweat that one out.
If I probably should have been paying more attention to it than I was. I was not. I just checked the final score and went, oh, good thing I didn't pay attention to that one because I would have been sweating that out. Still, winner, chicken dinner, up to 1350.
Okay.
What are you up to?
1307.
All right, so I'm in the lead.
You are.
For tonight, I have an old school, I'm teasing the spread on tonight's OKC Denver game.
Okay.
OKC is a 9.5-point favorite on like the traditional spread, right? They're minus 9.5. I can tease them all the way back down to a 4.5-point underdog and keep it within our parameters. So Thunder plus 4.5 against Denver is minus 880. I think OKC is a wagon.
Yeah, they're good.
I also think Denver is exhausted. I think they fired their coach a couple games before the end of the regular season. I think they can win, but I wouldn't see it by being more than a couple. So as long as OKC doesn't lose by 5 or more, then my 1350 will turn into 1503. I'm looking at the Thunder to beat Denver in the first of that second round series. What do you have?
So I have NHL tonight, game 1 between the Florida Panthers, the reigning Cup champions, taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I have over 3.5 goals scored in this game. It's actually a minus 525. So my 1307 will turn into 1555 by the end of the night. I fully predict that the Florida Panthers win this game 3-1.
I am, I mean, that's a low, like, those odds feel like they should pay out less, right? It seems like it's pretty darn likely that any NHL postseason game goes, it just has to be over 3.5?
Just over 3.5.
Yeah, so they're anticipating, I mean, people are calling the Canes Caps expected rock fight. They're expecting that at least game 1 to be rock fight.
It is also Toronto past the first round of the playoffs, which is something that's only happened twice this century. So they're not used to scoring goals this time of year, so that makes perfect sense.
You brought it up, though. Panthers, they know how to win at this time of year.
They do.
Interesting. So there you go. We'll see how it pans out. And as always, if it wins, we'll roll it over and we'll keep going until the end of the month. Still very early. Just Cinco de Mayo here in the early part of May. So a lot to get to. Speaking of a lot to get to here on the drive, let's get to winners and losers. Fire up some music for me.
Oh, my instrumental went away.
Okay, just sing.
Winners and losers. Winners.
Put you on the spot. You came up.
Winners.
That is very much
losers.
Like what I do for my 4-year-old son when it's like you want to make like doing a chore. Like you got to pick up your toys. You just start making up like the toy pickup song, and it's just random words about doing what just to make it a little more fun.
We'll never lose again.
There we go.
I think my song's better, but this is fun.
This one's got more bass. Winners and losers. It's just who won and who lost the last week. And it's hopefully more creative than like a team, this team won again, they scored more points, they won the game, they're the winner, right? We try to think beyond that. If you have a winner or loser, you can send it into our YouTube live stream chat, little comment section. Just search 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. There's a live stream. What's going on, everybody out there? If you comment with a winner or a loser, there's a good chance we'll see it, bring it up on air. If you don't want to do that, you can always send it to me on Twitter or x.com. Just send in at Donnelly Sports. If you tweet it at me, I will see it, and I will bring it up on air. I'll get it started. Winner, Sebastian Aho.
A new dad?
Became a dad on Friday. Birth of a baby daughter. Obviously, shout out to his wife for doing the actual work, but congratulations, Seabass. Here is Sebastian Aho talking to the media about being a first-time dad.
Feels unreal. I mean, obviously, so happy that I got to be there, and kind of timing-wise worked out, and both mom and baby are happy and healthy, and she did an amazing job, and really proud of her.
Obviously, a life-changing moment for Aho and his family, but also Rod Brindamore. I mean, the gray hairs just. I mean. Aho showed up. He was just a little tyke when Rod started coaching him, and now he's going to have a little tyke of his own. Here's Rod on seeing Aho have a kid after being there when Aho came into the league.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see, all the guys now we're having a lot of that's happening a lot here in this room, and we are a big family in there, but it does remind you that life moves quickly, and I think we do a pretty good job of that. We try to stay in the moment and enjoy every day because they go by quick.
Getting deep. Everyone gets emotional when start talking fathers and sons and fathers and daughters, right? Do you know what is an underlying thing here, Dennis? I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Like this is, I'm just spitballing here. I'm just brainstorming. You know who else had a son? Had a son yesterday.
Who's that?
Mitch Marner.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying they could go to school together. They could grow up together. It's a great area for kids.
Yeah.
Right. If they're at a team event and they need someone around their age to occupy them while dad go ahead and do a team obligation. I'm just saying, if it were to become a thing where Mitch Marner were available and the Canes had the money and they could make an agreement that it's good to have parents of similar aged kids that you hang out with. Just throwing that out there. Maybe part of the sales pitch. Just throwing that out there. All right, let's get to a loser. Loser. I'll stay in hockey. Avalanche GM Chris McFarland.
Oh, whoops.
I'm not saying there was bad moves made because we don't know what the negotiations were like. We don't know what happened behind closed doors. But being eliminated by the guy you traded away that seemed to want to stay is kind of brutal. And that's exactly what happened. Mikko Rantanen, a hat trick, come from behind, third period to eliminate the Avs. That's a borderline mic drop moment in that kind of end of trade thing. I know you measure trades by years into the future. But that's a pretty loud opening statement as far as their postseason history. And then to hear Nathan MacKinnon so sad after. That's you trade away his buddy, his line mate, and now he loses to that same guy, and now your star is sad. That's a GM that needs a break, but probably can't take one because he had to go work on fixing it.
Especially with all the moves that they made. They completely revamped their goalies, even before they traded Rantanen. So, okay, we got Jack Drew, we got Martin Necas coming in. Oh, we traded for Brock Nelson. Oh, Gabriel Landeskog comes back during the playoffs, too. You got all these guys that came in, and you really only let go one, and that guy beat you.
It really is what's the Office quote? How do we know we're or I wish we knew we were in the good old days before we left them or something like that. McKinnon has to be walking around going we were so good. It wasn't that long ago. How did we collapse like that? He was playing for us. What is going on here?
Oh, and Dallas was also without one of their top three forwards in Jason Robertson and their best defenseman in Mira Heiskanen as well. Oh, and you still lost.
Yeah, McKinnon said that. He's like, they didn't have their best D and one of their best skaters, and we still lost. I don't know.
And you had a 2-0 lead in the third.
No, there's really no explanation for it.
None.
Everyone probably deserves some blame, but usually blame settles on one person, and I have a feeling it's going to be the front office, which is why they end up a loser. Do you have some winners and losers you want to throw out here?
I do. Winner yesterday, actually just over the weekend, winner, hockey fans. 2 Game 7s that came down to the wire, and especially a game last night that went to double overtime between Winnipeg and St. Louis. Absolute winner for hockey fans all over. And if you're new to hockey or just casual in hockey, this is the reason why we watch, folks.
And on top of that, even the series that didn't go 7 had entertainment value.
Oh, for sure. Gosh, look at the Canes.
Yep.
Game 5, that was a double overtime game.
Yep. And it wasn't even a Game 7, and the electricity was through the roof. So I imagine a Game 7 in double OT. Watch out.
Playoff hockey is the best.
Do you want to throw a loser out there or just the winner? I've got more of both.
I'll let you go on. I've got a loser maybe.
Loser, Michigan football.
Ha!
So they announced that they are self-imposing a suspension on Sherrod Moore, their coach, for, I guess, his involvement in the sign stealing scandal. I don't know how you get to keep a national championship that comes between 2 suspensions to different head coaches for a scandal, right? Jim Harbaugh suspended. They win a national championship. Sherrod Moore suspended, and it was for the same activity. I'm starting to get the same feeling I had about the Astros sign-stealing scandal, where everybody just kind of went if we wait long enough, everybody will just go, we took away their national championship, right? We took away their World Series, right? And you didn't do it, but then it's just so far in the past, it's not worth it. I just don't get why it's not a bigger deal that Michigan was deliberately breaking rules and stealing signs and knew what the other teams were going to do and won a national championship, and everyone just football's football. It seems like a bigger deal to me. I don't like cheaters. I want cheaters to never win, so Michigan's a loser. Winner, Buddy Hield. Game 7 versus the Rockets. He's a quote-unquote role player for the Warriors. They're calling it the Buddy Hield game. For a role player, that's the dream. You get a playoff game named after you. There's the Kelly Olynyk game. There's the Mike Miller game. There's the Buddy Hield game. Awesome to have a game named after you. It's the dream. You said you had a loser you want to throw out here, Dennis?
I do. I hate saying this one, but I think a loser kind of tied back into hockey. The more I think about it, I didn't really want to say this one. Marty Necas. Because Avalanche fans are going to look and say, wait a second, we got rid of Rantanen. Who's the guy that we got back, the star guy? Oh, Martin Necas, who really only showed up for 2 games out of 7 in the playoffs. Really only showed up for 2 games out of 7. Games 5 and 6, he had 4 points. The rest of the series, he had 1 assist. That's it.
I'm not.
That's it.
I'm not saying this, but I can guarantee you there are Canes fans saying this. Could have told you that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, the postseason, Marty. Yeah, could have told you that. You didn't do the full scouting report, did you? No, I agree with you. Really just everyone in the Avs is going to have some tough questions to answer, and maybe outside of McKinnon. But yeah, no, you're the leader. Even McKinnon. Everybody has some tough questions to answer in that Colorado franchise.
By the way, winner in that, I'll throw this one out there. Tulski. You know why? Because guess what? Nathan McKinnon, he's obviously a world-class player. But Mikko Rantanen, actually outside of Nathan McKinnon, he had 11 points in the last 3 games of that series. Mikko Rantanen did. So guess what? Mikko Rantanen actually can play without Nathan McKinnon. And that was the guy that Tulski traded for, remember?
Okay.
Now, he didn't want to be in Carolina, so they obviously had to move on. But that's the guy he traded for.
Can I explain something here?
Sure.
The better he plays for Dallas, the more Canes fans should be mad at him.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
It is not a situation where he plays well and that somehow is rubbing it in the face of Canes fans. It is the reverse. The better he plays with Dallas, the more obvious it becomes that he was not putting in the prep or effort, or he wasn't mentally locked in, whatever you want to call it.
Didn't buy in.
He wasn't that player for Carolina. So the fact that he was it in Colorado and now he's settling into being a really good player again for Dallas, that just shows even more that, for lack of a better term, we were right? If he wasn't a good hockey player, if it showed up in Dallas and he just never reached those heights again, and it turns out he was what the internet calls a McKinnon merchant, and his stats were just all a byproduct of playing with McKinnon, then that might have ended up us with some egg on our face, right? Maybe he was trying as hard as he could in Carolina. It's just he didn't have McKinnon. He wasn't that good. But now that he has moments like he's had the last 3 games with Dallas, we're like, nah, I knew you were good. And I knew you weren't showing your best self to us in Carolina. So this is not see, Carolina fans? It's like, no, you see. We knew he was there. That's why we were excited when the trade happened. We didn't turn on him till after we saw him playing bad hockey. I'm just going to – I got angry energy here. I'm going to stay with the losers.
Go for it.
Losers, people that prank call draft prospects on draft day.
Huh.
But I'm going to give you some positive energy.
Oh, okay.
I have a solution. And by the way, I thought this is how the draft was when I was a kid. I want the players to find out on TV. It solves everything. If you don't see somebody on whatever channel it's on at the podium saying your name, you aren't getting drafted yet. I want 15 people in the world to know who the pick is upcoming. 14 of them are in the war room of the team drafting and the commissioner. And that's it. And he walks up and says a name, and it's the first time the rest of the league finds out, the first time all the fans find out, the first time the player finds out. And do you know what else it does, Dennis? It makes for better TV, because then the reactions when they have the camera on the player are true, right? Instead of the player standing in the middle of all his family with a knowing smile because he told them all already, like, I'm getting picked by Jacksonville here. Instead of that, everybody's genuinely like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Last loser for you. Quinn Ewer's agent.
Oh, okay.
Ron Slavin. There's an ESPN article you know what we have to become okay with? And these guys, once they're drafted, they're professional athletes. Heck, even in college, they're professional. If you're making that kind of money, you can take a little bit of truth, right? This is not Little League where everybody has to play and you worry about feelings. Quinn Ewers got drafted very, very late in the draft. He left early and passed up millions of dollars in NIL to get drafted. His agent was quoted to ESPN saying that he called a bunch of teams going like, why, what the heck? And he got a response. This was his quote, Ron Slavin, Quinn Ewers' agent. They thought he was a 3rd or 4th round pick, but too big of a name to be a clipboard holder, which I think is chicken bleep. That's what the agent said. This reeks of I can't have an honest conversation with my client. This reeks of I can't tell them they didn't think you were a top 5 round pick. So instead, oh, you're a 3rd round pick, but you're so famous that you can't be a backup on that. We heard it about Shedeur. We heard it about Quinn Ewers. We've heard it about, listen, it reeks of being in an interview for a job and they ask, what's your biggest flaw? And you say, well, my biggest flaw is that I'm actually too much of a perfectionist. I work too hard. I have no work-life balance because my entire day is spent obsessing about doing my job better. It's like, all right, you're trying to paint your flaw as a positive. You fell in the draft. The NFL didn't choose you. Guess what? If a starting quarterback gets hurt, GMs still have to win or they lose their job. You think they were like, well, he might bring some extra cameras to practice, so we're going to pass on a better option at backup quarterback in order to have a boring nobody in our quarterback room. No, they take the best players. Or who, actually, let me correct that. They take who they believe are the best players. Bar none. I mean, unless an owner comes down and says, like, due to personality red flags or history off the field or something, they're off the board. They take the players that they think are best. Don't sell these stories. Let Quinn Ewers feel it a little bit. Maybe it's the motivation he needs. Who knows? Maybe, 15, 20 years from now, there'll be a documentary and he'll be crying as he names every quarterback drafted above him. That's the Brady timeline, right? Or maybe, now that you've given him this out, 6, 7, 8 years from now when he's out of the league, he'll be going, it's really messed up. I should have been a 3rd round pick and had a better opportunity, but I was too famous at Texas, so never really got a shot. You've given him an excuse. Have real, difficult conversations. Speaking of real, difficult conversations, here's one we might need to have. Are you excited for another year of Frederik Andersen as goalie 1, potentially, for the Carolina Hurricanes? He signed an extension since we last talked on the show. Are you excited, or are you bummed, or are you both? We'll have that conversation coming up next, but before we do, Dennis Cox has some information to pass along to you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, your monthly bills are keeping you up at night. Maybe you're worried about your finances in these crazy times. If you're like most people, you have racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, and the monthly payment is simply just not making a dent in it. It's time to give Loan Pronto a call. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Again, the website, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, looks at the Frederik Andersen contract extension. Good, bad, indifferent? Stick around. Coming up next.
Is your heating and air system ready for the changing season? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Marcy Bailey here to remind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with something sparkly wrapped up in a Bailey box. We've curated an amazing Mother's Day gift guide with beautiful jewelry for every style and budget. Shoppable at BaileyBox.com. We also have all the top designers like David Yurman, Lagos, and Hippolyta, along with our highly sought-after Bailey's collections. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the Coast.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Jeff Hoffman from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. So I'm looking at the website here and it says gutter helmet. People go, gutter helmet?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. Gutter helmet's a great product, and this is a time of the year where a lot of people aren't thinking about it because they think a gutter helmet during the fall, not the spring, but you got so much falling out of the trees here with the pollen coming up. So, yeah, it's a good time to let us come out, inspect your gutters, inspect your fascia board, do some flashing, repitch, take care of everything, and then install the gutter helmet.
And you'll never have to get on a ladder again, right?
Never have to get on the ladder again.
What about getting in the bucket of a tractor? No, don't even ask me.
Been there, done that myself.
Don't even ask me. So gutter helmets and everything else you guys do, warranty?
Yep. One-stop shop. We're going to take care of all your rotten wood, and we're going to stand behind it with a lifetime warranty and a lifetime service warranty, no clog.
Lifetime warranty. 1-800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com.
This hour of The Drive brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Now a long shot from Hamilton right on, and the save is made there by Andersen. Turning out in front, Andersen with another save, and he'll paddle it to safety.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Freddie Andersen signed a contract extension, 1 year, to be goalie for the Carolina Hurricanes. I can sense the reaction. A little bit of ups and downs, right? A little bit of yeses and nos. First of all, Freddie wants to be here, and I think that matters. Okay? Like, before we get to our reactions, it has been obvious since the trade deadline. We've talked about it. I've pointed it out a bunch. It's kind of insane how many interviews from new players, old players, veteran players, rookie players, established core guys, and brand new entries have referenced that they want to play with players that want to be in Carolina. Right, and it's become a bit of a rallying cry, and I think it's a really good one for this unit. And Freddie, there's no doubt, wants to be in Carolina. He likes it there. He likes the system. He likes the guys, and that right there is worth something. We have audio here from Freddie after the contract on why he decided to stick around in Carolina, in Raleigh, for one more year.
The years I've been here, we've had really competitive teams, and the area is awesome. I love living here, and everyone in the organization does a tremendous job. So just very happy to be able to stay here and stay in another year on a team that's got very high expectations and shooting for the best. So I think that was why I'm just happy to get it done, and it provides both the team with a little bit of clarity going forward.
It's a two-part reaction for me. I'll give you both parts. One, nice. Right? One, it's just a simple, you look at the facts and you go, cool. Freddie is solid, right? He's really good when healthy, which is a big when or big if, whatever you want to say. But it's a cheap deal too, right? It's a couple $1,000,000. You throw on another little bit in incentives. It's not restrictive at all when you look at the Canes cap situation. So part of it is just good deal, solid, way to go. You look at the Eric Tulsky, the GM, and you say, great job. You look at Frederik Andersen's agent, you go, you got your client where he wants to be. This is all good. Right? And now we all go fingers crossed for good health throughout an entire season, and we move on. Then there's the second part of the reaction, which to me is kind of like, bummer. And that's no disrespect to Freddie. I like Freddie. I like Pyotr Kochetkov. But I can tell you that anytime you go into an offseason for any sport with a salary cap, if you go into an offseason and you're one of the teams talking about how much salary cap space you have, your fans' imaginations are going to run wild, right? It's just how it's going to be. So then when you see a sensible contract extension like this, you're not comparing Freddie Andersen to the actual replacements out there. You're comparing Freddie Andersen to the best goalie your imagination can come up with. Right? If you like that guy, well, you would trade for him and give him all the money. If you like this guy, then you would break the bank to go get him. It's a really, really unfair competition for a player to sign a sensible contract extension with a team that has oodles and oodles of salary cap space. Because in your fans' mind, you're gonna go sign Hellebuck. You're going to go sign Mitch Marner, and you're going to everybody's going to want to sign here because you have salary cap space and you can trade a couple first-round picks. So, I'd be lying if I saw the Freddie extension and I just went oh, does that mean we're going to have to wait another year before you go get the glitzy, glamorous, Vezina trophy winning all-star that we've been imagining this whole time? What did I say?
What'd you call the trophy?
Vezina?
Vezina. Come on.
Whatever. See, I'm not a goalie guy. Either way.
Respect the Vezina.
Vezina. I also call Hermione Hermine because it's how it's spelled. But that's irrelevant. What I'm getting at here is Freddie Andersen for another year is a good thing. It's not signing the best goalie in the league. You also don't need the best goalie in the league when you're the Carolina Hurricanes, right? Part of what your system does is it takes pressure off of the goalie, as has been proven by some of the stats Freddie's been able to put out there. Right? When they signed him, the stat that was referenced most often is the winning percentage, right? He wins, winning percentage, how many games he's won, all those sorts of things. That's a team stat, right? There's ways that we try to understand goalie play in and of itself, right? There's ways that we try to advanced analytic ourselves, right? Goals expected, goals, all of the nerd algorithms that we talk about. When you start citing wins, usually that means you're going to try to take value that someone else is creating and assigning it to the goalie. Same thing with pitchers. Same thing with quarterbacks. Right? If you have a great home run hitter who's putting up a bunch of run support and your pitchers are going around saying, hey, guess what? I'm 10-0. It's like your ERA is 9. Yeah, but I'm 10-0. And I'm not saying that's Freddie, but I am saying you don't need the best goalie in the world to win a bunch of games, particularly in the regular season with the Carolina Hurricanes. So it is literally a two-part reaction for me, with my logical brain pushing me towards nice, cool, great. And now you have to wait another year, right? It's a 1-year contract. It's not a long-term extension. He is somebody that'll be in his upper 30s pretty darn quickly here. So if I had to guess, this is how it went, right? If I had to guess, Carolina Hurricanes started perusing what they think is going to be available this offseason. Whether they can obviously look at the free agent class, right? You know whose contracts are coming up. That's public knowledge. And who they think, looking at other teams' kind of roster structure, who will be available in a trade. And what it's going to take and how much they'd have to pay them, right? They did their best to predict all of that and said, I don't like any of those options.
Yeah, it's slim pickings in free agency.
And rather than forcing something different just to be different, we can run it back with Freddie, who we know is good enough to get us into the second round of the postseason, right? We just watched it. And he's good enough to win a whole bunch of games when healthy in the regular season. We can run it back for another year, and maybe they've forecasted long enough to say we like the options better than next year.
Do you think it's out of the realm of possibility that Kochetkov, if they want to trade for a goalie, that Kochetkov will be the one who gets traded? Kochetkov is only making $2 million a year. We know that he can play 45 games in a season and still do well for you. The question obviously being postseason. If you wanted to upgrade at goalie going into next year and Freddie being a tandem with someone else, like, for example, if Boston wants to blow things up and all of a sudden Jeremy Swayman's available for trade, I want to make sure if I'm a team giving away a goalie, I get someone that can step between the pipes and do okay for me. You think Kochetkov? I'm not saying that's what they do, but we did see a few years ago Alex Nedeljkovic come through the organization, play well, then get traded away. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Swayman's a good option. I do think everything you just said makes sense, and especially because of their cap situation and how little that Pyotr Kochetkov is making. There might be another team out there that needs the salary cap space, and you can say, like, listen, give us your stud goalie. We'll give you a starter, and it'll be enough to save you the money you need to go do whatever you got to do with the cash, right? You know, give us your X amount of dollars, $10 million, just use a square number, $10 million goalie, take our $2 million goalie, then that $8 million solves all your problems. That makes sense. But I think if you're going to do that, it's going to have to be a really good goaltender. Like you're not giving up Kochetkov on that deal for, just a slight upgrade to goalie 2, right? You got to be getting a dude that, obviously leapfrogs Freddie in performance. So, maybe that is Swayman if you think he's that dude. He's what, 26, 27? 26.
He's making 8.25.
Yeah, if they wanted to save $6 million, it was worth them enough, and you threw in some picks and Kochetkov, there's possibility there. And that is kind of the next part of it, which I think I said, but it's not restrictive on anything they want to do. I think it probably, obviously, the leader in the clubhouse to be their goalie next year would be Freddie, but I mean, they had 30-something million in projected cap space, and they just spent 2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.75
plus another $750,000 plus another $750,000 in incentives. Like, that doesn't restrict you from doing anything. You can go get as big a name as you want as a center, as big a name as you want as a winger. It's all right there. It's all right there. So yeah, basically, I've settled on, how do you feel about the Freddie extension? Good. Cool. Doesn't have to be anything more than that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up next, including, finally, Canes Cap starts tomorrow. Not today, I wish, but tomorrow. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
All right, now that we got that warm and fuzzy welcome back series over with New Jersey, it's now time to dig deep, folks, and find your best, bless your heart, for the Washington Capitals. This is going to be a rough series. Get ready. A roller coaster ride is coming, and remember, you don't have to cheer Ovi. He's already got the record.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Thursday, June 19th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Inter Miami and FC Porto. Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba taking on Diogo Costa and Rodrigo Mora. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike May. Showers and thunderstorms have rolled on through. They're all pushing into our eastern counties. Tonight, clearing and cooler with a low at 56. Tomorrow is partly cloudy. It's still warm, but it is less humid with a high at 81.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 98 points to 41,218. Market update brought to you by Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Deep River wants you to come fight the clay invasion. Come shoot down clay targets at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Visit deepriversportingclays.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting 5 here at 5 o'clock, so let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wanted to get it to Jarvis off the boards. Back for Gossesbear. Oh, game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it on the power play in overtime!
You know what that call just did? It put it in perspective how long the break has actually been for the Canes.
That was a week ago.
Because saying a week ago, right, I don't know, it doesn't sound that long. But then thinking of how long ago we watched Aho score that game winner, that feels like it was forever ago, right? It's goodness gracious, they haven't played hockey in a long time. The Canes and Caps finally start their second-round Stanley Cup playoff series tomorrow in Washington, 7 o'clock. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. We're looking forward to it. It does, like, it's a different kind of challenge for these two teams. Hockey, like, football players, you get a week to think about your matchup. So you get used to it, right? Try to deconnect for a couple days, then you first get into the film room, then you're looking at third downs, you piece it out, then, all right, now let's look at goal line, all right, Hockey, there's usually, like, they're the conveyor belt, right? You're playing multiple games a week. There's not a ton of time. You're almost in the submarine, right? You're down there, go. You can overthink some things. You can start letting the pressure get to you. You can start maybe overthinking scheme. They don't know that we know that they know that on their penalty kill, they like to do this, so we should do that, but they're going to anticipate us doing that, so we should come back and do the other thing. A week is a long time. Hopefully, the Canes handle it well. As you're going to hear from Rod Brindamore here, he doesn't feel like there's any added pressure on the Canes in this situation, which is good to know.
Honestly, there's nothing you do differently. You're preparing the same, because all year we ask our guys to play their hardest and do this, that. You can't ask for more now. It's just, I think everything ramps up. It's just more exciting. It's not really more pressure. I just think it's more exciting, and they understand the magnitude of each game and each play of each game. I think that just ramps up, but I don't really feel that it's not like pressure. It's good. It's a good time of year to be playing.
Who's slamming the door behind Rod? He's trying to give us some insight over here.
Trying to get to the airport.
Yeah, got to get to Washington somehow. Part of the cool setup of NHL postseason is these teams do know each other, right? They're playing some super duper high leverage hockey. There's not going to be any surprises. There's not going to be, I didn't know that guy had that in his arsenal. It's like, this team very, very well. And because of that, it comes down to the execution. It comes down to, winning those 50-50 battles and everything else. I'm just gonna say I'm antsy for this one. I don't even get to play, and I'm like, come on, man, we've talked about it enough. I talk for a living. All we do is talk, and I'm like, enough with the chit chat, guys. Let's play hockey.
I have nothing else to say.
And we still have a full day tomorrow before we get into it. But maybe that's what the NHL is going for. They're trying to just ramp up that anticipation. But it's time to play hockey, right? It's time to play hockey. You're healthy. Both teams appear to be healthy going in. Both teams appear ready to play. Let's play hockey. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together. Let's do that hockey.
I should point out that we're definitely going to break it down a whole bunch tomorrow, so we're not actually done talking about it. How about the rest of the NHL first round? Classics, right? I mean, if the Canes are going to have that week off, at least we were entertained. Shall we start with the Dallas comeback against Colorado? Because we circled that. You go back to before the playoffs started. I believe we both said, hey, when we're not watching the Canes, we're not going to be missing that Avs Stars series because of style of play, because of the Mikko Rantanen kind of connection, right, with the Canes being the middleman there. But goodness gracious, is that a tough one for the Colorado Avalanche to come to grips with. And then you go into the later in the night. Winnipeg drives an absolute dagger into St. Louis. Now, keep in mind, Winnipeg, President's Trophy, right? Best team in the league. They are going into the first round. I'll put my hand up on this one. I did not have that series going the way it went. We broke down all the series, right? Kind of what we just talked about. Cavs, goodness gracious. Avs against the Stars, this, and and the Vegas and the Ottawa. We did it all. And then at the end, we kind of ran out of time, and we had Winnipeg and St. Louis, and I just went, tough one, St. Louis. You drew Winnipeg. And moved on. St. Louis was there for the fight. I give them a whole bunch of credit. There was very little intimidation or anything going up against a team that was the best in the league this year. Hellebuck did not inspire fear in St. Louis, which give them credit. But they do have to take a little bit of heat. Like Game 7, right? We're talking about the St. Louis-Winnipeg series. Game 7, St. Louis had them. They had them. 3-1. 2 minutes on the clock. That's all you had to get through. You gave up 2 goals, including one with like 1.7 seconds to let overtime happen. That's brutal. That hurts. I don't care about St. Louis. I don't care about Winnipeg, right? No rooting interest on either side. I felt pretty bad for St. Louis. And do you know what is actually true? Actually, I don't know if this is true, but this is how I would have been as a St. Louis fan. I would have been talking myself down from getting my hopes up darn near that whole series. Right? Would have been like, all right, we forced it to 5. Oh, look at this. We forced it to 6. We're going to have a Game 7 against Winnipeg, right? If this is as far as it goes, we showed well for ourselves in the series, like trying to be optimistic, wanting to win, but trying to be optimistic. And I guarantee you, about 3 minutes left, up 3-1, I wouldn't be able to contain it anymore. I would start going like, we're going to beat Winnipeg. Look at this. Everybody that said we're gonna go to the second round, we're gonna eliminate and then as soon as you start thinking that, bing bang bong, it's over. And then the captain, right? What is it, Lowry in the second overtime? That's a pretty cool one. I was thinking of this, Dennis. This is because that game was going on kind of simultaneously with the Warriors game, right? The Warriors win over the Rockets. 2 Game 7s going on at the same time. When the captain scored for Winnipeg, I want the hockey captain system passed along to every sport. I want it to be a bigger deal. I want it to be one guy, and I don't want it to just obviously always be the best player, right? And I want that every team, like, you need to have one, right? Because I started thinking, like, with the Warriors, would it be Draymond or Steph?
Steph. I'm
not sure. Because obviously Draymond is so much the heart and soul, and maybe they would both have worn it at different times in their career or whatever. But I like the idea of kind of the heartbeat being acknowledged as almost as important as like best player. Right? You can be the leading goal scorer and not be the captain, and you just don't see that in other sports. Like the guys going out for the coin toss in the NFL games, if you have an all-pro, he's out there, right? It's almost like, you don't even have to vote for him. Coaches will just send him out there if your team has captains like that. I want it to be a big deal when you pass. Like I think those things are cool. So just when he scored the goal, I went, oh, and it's the captain. Again, no rooting interest in the game whatsoever, but I went like, and the captain scored. That's cool. That's good for them. Good for culture.
It's like that with Carolina. Jordan Stahl's not the top scorer.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I want the hockey establishment of and one day, as I expect it to happen, one day Jordan Stahl will pass that to Aho. It's not just going to be like Stahl disappears and then the next year at camp, everybody pretends to vote, and now he's the captain. Like, there'll probably be a conversation there. Like, it'll be something cool. I hope it also happens shortly after passing the cup from one to the other, but hey, we'll see. I just think it's a cool deal when the captain thing, and I wish other teams, other sports had a similar deal. The Yankees kind of do, but they also don't have a captain every now and then, which I don't like. That's what number was that? 4? Yep. Let's hit number 3.
Step back 3, Curry. Bang! Got it. And Curry, who couldn't hit a shot earlier tonight, he was 1 for 8. Now has 20 points himself.
Not breaking news, but some of you might find this interesting. It appears as though Justin Tucker has been released by the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh!
They did draft a kicker, so writing kind of on the wall there.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin Kicker has the off-the-field allegations of sexual misconduct at massage therapists and massage parlor. I don't even know what you call them. Spas, I guess, up and down the Baltimore area. The Ravens are continuing, as Adam Schefter says, to insist it is a, quote, football decision that they've moved on from Justin Tucker.
Sure.
He wasn't very good this past year.
He actually wasn't.
But I think that may have been an awareness that some of this was going to come out. I think he may have had an idea. But hey, I'm just letting you know. Back to the starting five. Number 3, NBA playoffs going on. There is potentially a changing of the guard, passing of the torch, whatever you want to call it, happening in real time. The second round of the NBA playoffs. No LeBron, no Kevin Durant, no Chris Paul, no James Harden, no Dame Lillard, no Giannis, no Anthony Davis, no Kawhi Leonard, no Paul George, no Kyrie Irving. I could go on. There is Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler on the Warriors, but they squeaked by the Rockets, and I can't emphasize this enough. The Rockets are a young team that cannot shoot. and the Warriors needed every bit of 7 games to beat the Rockets. So they're running now into like the king of the new generation in Anthony Edwards. They're gonna need a great series to keep the old guard alive. But it's always interesting when this happens. It sneaks up on you, where suddenly you're like looking at the Final Four and you're just like, where are the guys that are here every year? When did this happen? And yeah, that's the passage of time. I used to say this, there was like a 25-year stretch where every year in the AFC Championship game, there was either Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Ben Roethlisberger. And then it just wasn't anymore, right? And then all of a sudden, those 3 guys, they just weren't. And it's kind of interesting, kind of fascinating when it happens, and there's that king of the hill scramble for who the next is going to be. Obviously, in that football situation, it became Patrick Mahomes. But there's a vacancy in the NBA right now. And that vacancy is at the face of the league. I think there's no argument who the best player is currently. I think that's Jokic. But I also think nobody has ever made it more obvious that they have absolutely no interest in being the face of the league than Nikola Jokic. So these other guys are really playing for like real estate in our NBA fandoms. I used to equate it to, and Dennis, you're a movie guy, right?
I saw 3 movies this weekend in theaters. Yes.
Oh, wow. That was unplanned. I happened to call you movie guy. I used to look at it there was like a group of leading men in movies that were all like of the same generation and getting older at the same time.
Yeah.
And desperately needed, like, who's going to play the leading man, right? It was Tom Cruise, Denzel, Will Smith, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, like this whole group, and they're all kind of aging together, and now they're all in their 50s, maybe beyond. And I'm going like, Michael B. Jordan better be really, really good because he's going to get a lot of who's the 2 guys from Top Gun? Miles Teller and
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell seem to be taking their swing at it. But it's happening in the NBA as well. Right? It's been Kevin Durant and Steph and LeBron and these guys for so long. Now it's like, who's going to be the leading man once these guys move on? Is it Jason Tatum? Could be. Is it Anthony Edwards? Could be. Wemby? Could be. Who knows? That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the 2 of us. Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
That's a clip from CBS Sunday Morning interview with Bill Belichick about his upcoming book. His book drops tomorrow. The voice you heard cutting off the question was his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. Do you know, it didn't strike me I don't know if it's hypocrisy, it might just be irony, of that exact clip of I don't care what people think of me and then refusing to answer a question. If you didn't care, you'd answer anything. You'd answer everything because who cares? You don't care what people think. So the like exact opposite. I don't care what people think. Well, how'd you meet? Ooh, we're not answering that. It's such like a dichotomy. Bill Belichick's book drops tomorrow. If you want to read it, you want to give me your review, I'd love to hear it. Here's the thing that is confusing to me. Why write a book if you're not going to put anything that people are interested in reading in it? And here's what I mean. The Athletic has an article. You can go look it up online, The Athletic, New York Times, whatever. Reviewing, right? They got to read the book. And their first, 2 or 3 paragraphs are dedicated to all of the things that are not in the book. And when I tell you it is a list of like the 6 or 7 things that I would be most interested in hearing Bill Belichick tell the story of. Spygate. Deflategate. Not in there. Neither of them are in there. Bill Belichick's view on the Aaron Hernandez situation, which wouldn't be told for laughs, obviously, but could be pretty darn insightful. Not in there. Doesn't mention Robert Kraft. What do we talk about? The 4 horsemen of the franchise. You need to have your quarterback, your head coach, your GM, and your owner in alignment. With the Patriots, the GM and the head coach were the same person. So it's only the 3 horsemen of the franchise. It was Brady, Belichick, and Kraft. He wrote a book about his life in football and didn't mention Robert Kraft. He didn't mention Malcolm Butler. The head coach didn't mention why one of your best players didn't play in a Super Bowl that you lost. He doesn't mention darn near anything of the relationship with Jordan Hudson, but he does, in fact, call her in the book his idea mill and creative muse. And he doesn't say darn near anything about his latest venture at UNC. I don't know. That's what I want to hear from Bill Belichick. Why write the book if you're not willing to tell anything? Because once you write the book about your entire career, we're going to ask questions. We're going to be intrigued. We're going to want to know about your entire career. It is, I don't know, like throwing a party and you invite over 100 people and you don't have a mansion, normal size house. And you just start listing rooms that people like, oh, no, living room's off limits. No, back deck's off limits. You guys can be in the kitchen or the dining room, nowhere else. You have to stay packed in there. It's like, well, then why'd you throw a party? If we can't even have a drink on the back deck when it's nice out, why'd you throw a party? Why'd you write the book if you're not going to tell us anything that we want to read in a book?
You can stare at the pool.
Yeah, exactly. Are you wearing your suit? Sorry, nobody's going in. Last time somebody, dropped a hot dog in there, and it took me for a while to get it out of the filter. The ketchup was a nightmare. Then don't throw a party. That's my point about everything Bill Belichick has going on. If you want to be private, be private. If you don't want people asking about your relationship to a 24-year-old, don't have that relationship all over social media. If you don't want people laughing or making jokes, don't be on the beach on your back playing the airplane yoga game with her and put the pictures out. Especially because she appears to be advising you on social media, so you would assume she knows the nature of viral posts and everything. And I can tell you right now, if you post a picture of Bill Belichick dressed like a fisherman and his 24-year-old girlfriend dressed like a mermaid, even if it's Halloween, there's going to be jokes about it.
Sure.
That's exactly what they did. And then they get upset that there are jokes. And by the way, the jokes aren't always going to be, like, nice. They're going to be mean-spirited. I'm not going to make the jokes, but I guarantee you that's how the internet works. If you don't want them, don't post the pictures. If you don't want people prying into your personal life, don't write a book telling all about the last 30 years or 40, 50 years. It's all wrapped into, if you invite people in, don't be surprised when they're in and when they're interested.
Is she the new Jordan Brand of UNC?
the silhouette.
Right.
The Jumpman logo of her with Bill Belichick on his back doing the yoga pose.
That's the new Jordan Brand logo for UNC football.
That would be one of the funniest things Michael Jordan could possibly do. if he got a custom like Jordan 11 and the logo instead of the Jumpman logo was just the silhouette of that. Goodness gracious, would that be hilarious?
A whole new Jordan Brand. Jordan Hudson.
Do you remember there was a scene, I want to say Mighty Ducks D2, may have been D3, where Gordon Bombay, the coach, is talking about a coaching shoe deal, and he's like, it's like a loafer.
That's definitely the second one.
Bill Belichick shoe, the new Jordan Brand, would be the Jordan Hudson brand, pairing with UNC. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything real in there, but there might be an SNL sketch. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Go one! Now a long shot from Hamilton right on, and the save is made there by Andersen. Turning out in front, Andersen with another save, and he'll paddle it to safety.
Freddie Andersen signed a 1-year contract extension with the Carolina Hurricanes.
$2.75 million with another up to $750,000 in incentives.
Do you know what's the best part about the incentives?
What's that?
Most of it is tied to games played.
Yeah.
Which you do have to protect yourself with a guy like Freddie, right? When he's missed large chunks of the season, like the middle 3 months in each of the last 2 years. So if somebody shows that kind of tendency, protect yourself with a little bit of incentive. I think it's good for both sides. Let's hear from Freddie why he decided to stick around for one more year in Carolina. Do we have Freddie?
The years I've been here, we've had really competitive teams, and the area is awesome. I love living here, and everyone in the organization does a tremendous job. So just very happy to be able to stay here and stay in another year on a team that's got very high expectations and shooting for the best. So I think that was why I'm just happy to get it done, and it provides both the team with a little bit of clarity going forward.
It is good for both sides as far as knowing, ahead of the market and the off season that they have a locked in goaltender that they trust. Now let's maybe this is my wife is a therapist, and every time we're watching sports and somebody starts struggling, and I just gosh, this isn't like them. She goes right into like, well, what does he have going on? Is it a confidence thing? How has he been playing? She starts asking those questions. I'm hoping Freddie can ride like a commitment and some loyalty from the team to the rest of this postseason, right? The team believes in you. The team wants you around. The team just gave you a vote of confidence. Go show Washington, right? Go show them why you're the guy next year. There is also that, right? This could have waited. This could have waited till after the postseason. It could have. They got it done now. Maybe to take one thing off of his plate so he can go into the next series and hopefully beyond. Clear, to go full Friday Night Lights with it. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. He has a commitment from the place he wants to be, that he gets to be there at least one more year, keep making good money to play goalie for a contender. And that's the other thing that the Canes have going for him, by the way. Because Freddie's what? Is he 35 now? I feel like he's been called 35 for a long time, because once you get mid-30s, it's always 35. But if you have anyone in the league that is looking for like one more run on a contender, upper 30s, whatever, there's only one team that has won a playoff series or a postseason series in each of the last 7 years, and that's Carolina Hurricanes. I don't know if they use that enough. I don't know if they go grab ring chasers enough. Somebody that's really good, but on the back nine that just wants to go win. They maybe take a little bit of a discount. There's always that possibility with Carolina. I know they haven't made it further than the Eastern Conference Finals, but that's because they don't have you, whoever the ring chaser is. You're the one that's supposed to bring it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So my point is, Freddie gets to play another year on a contender, meaningful hockey, right? When When you start getting to the end of the tunnel, you want every single season you play to not be a wasted one. Canes don't waste seasons. At least without making it at least one series into the postseason. We can talk about how they've ended in the past another time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab numbers game contestants, Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, the home of the no-cost loan. Volatility in markets has been the story for, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, longer than that even, a couple years. And because of that, it's always nerve-wracking when you have to lock in a mortgage. Right? It's not always our choice. You need a place to live. You got a new job. You had to move, upsize, downsize, whatever it is. You needed the mortgage, and it's always the fear, right? You're finalizing, you're closing, and you're thinking rates are going to drop 2 points next week, and I'm gonna have wasted all this money on costs and fees. Well, that's not the fear when you have Miller Lending. You actually get to hope. You get to hope that the rates drop because you use a no-cost loan, no closing costs, no cash out of your pocket, and you have your monthly payment. And then if rates drop 2 points, right, you get to root for it, you get to hope for it, refinance. No costs, no fees, no cash out of your pocket. Again, just lower that monthly payment. It's that simple. They can explain it to you further, but I'm telling you, simplicity, it's glorious. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. Whoa, but first, numbers game contestants. Almost forgot. What do we have prize for today, Dennis, as my computer loads?
We have a $25 gift card to Hardee's.
Nice. If you want to play the numbers game, and if you win, get a $25 gift card to Hardee's, you need to call in now. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. Call in now. 2 contestants for the numbers game. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm like legitimately emotional about this. I know. To watch the handshake line at the end and to see Pesci and Slavin and Stahl and Aho and Brindamore. I wanted to just have a camera on Brett Pesci. I thought it was interesting that there was a lot of love for Dougie Hamilton. Even Eric Haula. Aho and Haula were talking like they were old buddies.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
Need a spot to cheer on the Canes? Join the Carolina Hurricanes crew at Carolina Ale House's Cary location for away game watch parties. They'll have giveaways, prizes, and more. Yeah, even Stormy will be there. Weather permitting, there'll be a lawn party with a giant TV next to the restaurant. Bring a folding chair and cause chaos. Carolina Ale House is an official partner of the Carolina Hurricanes. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes for more info. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. with 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Michael in Raleigh and Evan in Fuquay-Varina on the line, ready to battle it out for a $25 Hardee's gift card. As always, we will ask the same question to both contestants. Dennis, our producer, will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Michael. Michael in Raleigh, are you there?
Yes.
All right. It is a Monday, so we'd like to know the highlight of your past weekend. However, because we're a sports show, keep it sports-related. What was the sports highlight of your weekend?
Game 7, watching the Warriors win last night.
Okay. Locked in. We'll see if it gets chosen. Evan in Fuquay-Varina, are you there?
Yes.
Same question to you. What was the highlight of your past weekend, but keep it sports-related?
I'm going to have to agree with Michael there. That was an exciting game. Well, going into it, it was exciting, but it was still a good game.
Dennis, I think I know your answer, but for the official sake, go ahead and make it known.
Pretty straightforward. When you say, yeah, what the first guy said, generally it's going to go to the first guy. So Michael in Raleigh will take his answer because it's the only answer.
All right, Michael in Raleigh gets to go first. Evan, don't worry. You will have your chance. You just have to sit on the line for a second or two and wait. Michael, are you ready to pick a category?
Go for it.
All right, the categories are NFL players from the 2023 draft class, NFL players from the 2018 draft class, NBA players that all at some point or another were Kevin Durant's teammates, or NHL Hurricanes only. Those are your options. Go ahead and make your choice.
Let's go with 2018 NFL draft.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There are 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. These are all players in the NFL from the 2018 draft class. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens.
8.
Correct. DJ Moore, Chicago Bears.
12.
Incorrect. Calvin Ridley, Tennessee Titans.
18.
Incorrect. DJ Moore, Chicago Bears.
2.
Correct. Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles.
86.
Incorrect. Calvin Ridley, Tennessee Titans.
10.
Incorrect. Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles.
Let me go 84.
Incorrect. Calvin Ridley, Tennessee Titans.
Pass.
You got 2. We'll give you that. You got Lamar Jackson with 8. You got DJ Moore with 2. I don't know what it is about this number. It's becoming more and more popular, and it just never pops up into contestants' brains. Calvin Ridley with the Titans wears 0. Number 0. And Dallas Goedert, 88 is the number we were looking for. You were probably going to get there at some point because you were making your way through the 80s there. But you did get 2. No shutouts or anything like that. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Evan in Fuquay-Varina. Evan, are you there?
Yes.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players from the 2023 draft class, NBA players that were Kevin Durant's teammates at some time or another, or NHL players, but Hurricanes only.
Let's do the NFL 2023 draft.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You do need at least 3 for the win, and all of these players are from the 2023 NFL draft class. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Correct. Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions.
31.
Incorrect. Jordan Addison, Minnesota Vikings.
3.
Correct. Aiden O'Connell, Las Vegas Raiders.
12.
Correct. Marvin Mims, Denver Broncos.
19.
Correct. Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions.
He just changed it to 0 now.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lion.
0.
Incorrect. I didn't know what you said. There was like a sentence there. You got 4, which is plenty for the win. Jahmyr Gibbs, we were looking for 26. I do think they announced a change to this year, but he hasn't worn it yet, so it doesn't qualify this offseason, I would say. But 26 is the number we were looking for. You did get 4. That is enough for the win. Congratulations. For those of you playing at home, for Aiden O'Connell, we would have accepted number 4 or number 12. He wore both with the Raiders. So that's the little update there. But congratulations, you're the winner.
Thank you.
That is a $25 Hardee's gift card coming your way. You just have to stay on the line and give the info to Dennis that he asks for.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs has not worn 20. It's not worn 0 yet. Though it did announce that he's going to switch it to 0.
He better be good. He is really good. But I'm 0. If you're going to wear 0, you better be an absolute monster. I'm just throwing that out there. So anyway, congratulations to the winner. $25 Hardee's gift card coming his way. Just has to stay in line and talk to Dennis.
So it looks like Terrion Arnold, who wore 0 previously, is switching to number 6. Jamison Williams is going to switch from 9 to 1. And Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is going to switch from 15 to 9.
Don't quote me on this, but I think it's a pretty pricey deal to change your number.
I think so.
If you're not traded. If you're traded, you can change your number all you want. But if you're a popular player, I think you have to buy all of the jerseys that like the NFL shop has printed already with your old number and your name on it. And that gets pricey. I know I've heard stories of guys like, finally I'm a little bit more established. I want to go get my favorite number, and they go talk to the team, and the team goes, all right, you can absolutely do that. Here's how much it'll cost. And they go, you know what? Kind of like my old number. Don't as much. What's in a number, right? I'm not superstitious. Never mind. I don't even know why I came down here. But then you also have guys like Lamar Jackson. He's trying to actually was one of the guesses today. I think he's trying to like copyright the number 8. This is mostly stuff I read on social media, so it's 100% right. But I think he and Troy Aikman got into like a trademark legal battle because Lamar Jackson wanted to trademark 8, and Troy Aikman was selling like a beer called 8 or something like that. I don't know how you trademark a number. You'd have to. That actually might be a good question for the numbers game. Although I don't want to have to give things away. But like if any athlete owned a number, who owns a number the most? I mean, like Earnhardt 3 works pretty well, but that's also Babe Ruth 3. So I don't know. Most owned number? Brady 12, maybe? Jordan 23. There's the answer. Just nailed it. Jordan, number 23. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Although maybe we'll eliminate Jordan 23 and do that as a question later this week for numbers game. So you can prepare for it, right? If one player owns one number, what is it? Gretzky 99. There are some good options here. Now, what's Dennis, real quickly.
Okay.
Who owns the number more?
Okay.
Earnhardt 3, Jordan 23, Gretzky 99.
That's a tough one.
Right? Because all 3 of those, when they popped into my brain, I went, oh, there's the answer. Nailed it. But
Gretzky might be 99.
Gretzky owns 99 more than anyone else in sports owns a number?
Yeah, I'd probably say so. Because no one wears 99 in hockey ever, anywhere.
Yeah, but
like
if a
levels.
hockey player wore 23, I would go like, oh, he must be a Jordan fan. If a football player wears 99, I don't go, oh, he must have grown up in Canada.
Are you talking like for like specifically for the sport?
I'm just saying like if I said a number,
okay,
which player is like for number and players the most obvious? Like everybody thinks when you say that number, that player in sports. I don't know. We could do that later on. That's something that me and my friends would debate till we're out of breath. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to pass along to you other than a numbers debate for you and your buddies at the bar.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Make sure, if you're a motorcycle rider like myself, First thing you got to do before you even get on the bike, make sure everything's in proper working order. Tire pressure is a big thing because last thing you want to do, if you got underinflated tires or overinflated tires, can lead to a really bad accident. But all about preparation comes again, not only making sure your bike is in proper working order, but make sure your insurance is up to date. Here's something to keep in mind if you ride a motorcycle or really just any rider out there. 1 out of every 8, and it's across the state of North Carolina, 1 out of every 8 drivers is either underinsured or uninsured. Keep that in mind. If you're driving down the road right now, just look around all the cars that are around you. 1 out of every 8 is either underinsured or uninsured. So guess what? If you're in a motorcycle accident and that person that hits you is uninsured, well, guess what? Your policy then kicks in to cover the rest of the cost. So you got to make sure your policy, at least for when it comes to uninsured motorists that might hit you, you want to try and make sure that is up to date and as maxed out as possible because guess what? That's what's going to cover you if you got to go to a hospital. And if you're not up to max when it comes to that part of your insurance, well, guess what? That you may only have 1 trip to the emergency room covered. Where's the rest of that money coming from? So make sure your insurance is up to date before you even get on the bike. Also, head to lawtigers.com. They have a free rider benefit kit for you. Make sure you check that out before you get back off on the motorcycle and start riding because it is riding season, folks. Even though the weather was a little bit rough today at some points, it's riding season full go right now. So make sure your insurance is up to date. Make sure you take care of yourself before you get on the bike. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you even contact the insurance companies because they are out there to help you. Case evaluation is always free, and they do not get paid until your case gets settled. Call Law Tigers, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
I think I have the answer. Jackie Robinson, 42. That's because 42 isn't unusual. The other numbers are too cool. They're worn by a bunch of people in all the sports. 42 you never see except for Jackie Robinson. I think the answer is Jackie Robinson. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We get to an all-time head-scratcher. Coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you, hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your independent terrain dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get it Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now. Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to a very confusing situation to me, Dennis, I rambled about the Freddie Andersen contract extension quite a bit.
Okay.
I didn't hear your opinion. You like it? You like the deal? On the scale of heck yeah to oh no, where are you landing?
On the heck yeah to oh no,
or just that's just a way to say tell me what you think about the extension.
I think it's a good thing because again it's only one more year. And again, Freddie Andersen, obviously, on the back nine of the career. But I still don't think it prevents them from doing what they want to do if they want to make a change in goal next year. I don't think it holds them back from doing it. First of all, it gives you a safety net, for a lack of a better term. Because if you look at the potential free agents this upcoming year in the NHL, goaltending, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's really not that good. So you have the security of like, okay, well, we know who these two guys are. We know they work. So we still have that.
We know they fit, right?
Exactly.
A lot of talk about who fits with Carolina.
But if they want to make a move, let's say if Jeremy Swayman, before his no-trade clause kicks in with Boston, if Boston's like, you know what, we can probably get a decent haul back and get some picks and try and rebuild this thing, then guess what? Jeremy Swayman might be the guy. He's only making $8.25 million. He had a down year, but also he had a terrible Boston Bruins team in front of him this year. So if they want to make that move, well, guess what? The trade piece then becomes Pyotr Kochetkov.
Do you know what is kind of exciting about the Freddie Andersen extension?
What's that?
What is it? 2.75 plus incentives.
Mm-hmm.
If you've solved goalie with 2.75 to Freddie and 2 to Pyotr Kochetkov, there's what, like 3 skater kind of opportunity maybe that you can go spend $30 million per or for, like
maybe even just 2.
I mean, you can go really, really top shelf shopping spree for the few remaining pieces that you still need on your roster. Meanwhile, if you were to go spend 8, 10, whatever million on a goalie, you wouldn't maybe one top shelf option and then one more maybe reasonably priced veteran. So there's different things, right? It's a sliding scale. Every dollar you don't spend on a goalie, you can spend on a winger or on that second line center that everybody's been coveting so much.
Assuming that Nikishin and Scott Morrow step in as for Dmitry Orlov and Brent Burns and on the defense, you really only have next season. Of the current 14 forwards they have on the roster, 11 of them are under contract for next year. And that doesn't even count Bradley Nadeau.
I was going to say, and a strong farm system.
Yeah.
Which is options. You only replace solid players with great players. You don't replace solid with mediocre. So we'll see how it goes. Quickly, this one's it's a head scratcher for me, and I wanted to bring it up. Michigan Sherrone Moore, their head coach, Michigan football, is expected to suspend himself weeks 3 and 4 as punishment in the advanced scouting case. That's the sign stealing case with Connor Stallions. ESPN reports. I don't get how Michigan's getting away with this. They're just choosing kind of random weeks to suspend coaches left and right and acting like that is paying their debt to society for cheating. I also want to be clear. They cheated. Like put that word out there, not, oh, they had an advanced scout. Like if I believed for a second that they were completely naive to the rules, there wouldn't have been things like disguises used. There wouldn't have been things like denials. There wouldn't, like, it would have just been, oh no, I didn't know we couldn't do that. Oh no, what is no? This whole thing is. Do you know what I feel bad for? I feel bad for Washington. I feel bad for Ohio State. And I don't want to feel bad for Ohio State. They're a big bad bully on the block that spends a bunch of money. But the teams that Michigan beat on their way to a national championship, they were probably sitting on the sideline trying to tear their hair out, going, I don't know how they know what we're doing. We're not tipping anything. Where I've disguised the play perfectly, yet somehow they know it's a run. It's I mean, suspending your coach weeks 3 and 4. What, did you look at the entire roster and decide those 2 games were the ones you could get by with your assistants? If you do 1 and 2, at least it kind of makes sense. I don't like how it's just being moved on from, right? This news about the Michigan suspension came out, and like, I'm making a point to talk about it a couple times in the show. We don't cover Michigan, but nobody that covers national is talking about it. They're just like, oh, look at that, Moore's going to miss a game. They're playing Nebraska. Matt Rule is going to have to talk about it, and we all know what happens when Matt Rule talks. Everybody looks away.
At the end of the day,
there you go. It is. Michigan cheated and won a national championship, and they don't even like. They're not even getting. You know how the Astros cheated and won a World Series, and then everybody kind of was like, "Oh yeah, I made jokes." I don't even hear Michigan jokes about it. No one's banging trash cans. All right, we got to move on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We got to move on because I got to tell you about what's going on at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. And yes, some of you right now are going, oh, Mother's Day. Yep, exactly. Listen, you might be late thinking about it for the first time, but I have the blueprint for you. This year, Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. I'll tell you, watches aren't just for dads, right? Moms love luxury timepieces too. They like having a Omega or a pre-owned Rolex, little Rolly on their arm. Blancpain Glashute Original. Maybe you know your mom better than I do, right? Which you probably do. And you might say, well, Tim, no, for her, watch isn't her thing. Cool. Bailey still has the largest selection of designer and fine jewelry in the area. Think sparkling diamonds, classic styles, pieces that will make her eyes light up. And right now, take advantage of their Mother's Day sale. Up to 20% off select items in store. That's serious savings on something that she will treasure forever. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry at any of their locations or the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop inside their Village District location in Raleigh, and make sure Mom knows how much she means to you with that Bailey box. You can also check it out online, baileybox.com. We have Overdrive coming up here because, yet again, there's not a Canes game tonight, but tomorrow there will be. We've been waiting a long time. Feels like there should be one tonight. But we will have Overdrive where we will talk Canes Caps and who this rest is benefiting or hurting more out of the older yet more physical Canes or the younger, more skilled older, more physical Caps or the younger, more skilled Canes. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. Who does the rest benefit? Well, that's what we'll start off with Overdrive. We'll get to some Panthers talk. And as always, please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it, subscribe, like, comment, pass it along to your friends. And we'll be back tomorrow to really get you ready for Canes Caps Game 1. Tomorrow at 3 for The Drive. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Giants.
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we wanna be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543.